Wondery Plus subscribers can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free right now. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
Hello and welcome to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmie. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us again on another wild, crazy, insane, just downhill snowball edition of Crime and Sports. I'd say death-defying, but that's not going to be the case today. This is a crazy-ass thing that we have going on. The next three, going up to 200, we're plowing hard to 200.
We're going to light it all on
Crime
fire.
And Sports, plowing hard to 200. That's what we're on right now. And just quickly, this episode, bonkers. Literally one of the 5 most dangerous people we've dealt with as far as his criminality and everything. I mean, no one can really beat Randy Woodfield. He was
tough.
Like raping and killing women and their daughters at the same time.
Indiscriminately from Oregon to Southern California.
He's doing Ted Bundy shit and had a nickname and everything. Like, you can't beat that. But he could be worse than OJ and worse than a few other people. He's a bad man. And then the next 2 episodes we're going to do something really cool where it's in one event happened.
Don't go too specific.
I'm not, but it's 2 people. They have nothing to do with each other. Completely opposite
separate
lives, completely separate. Their lives come together for one brief moment that is everything to one person and causes a whole thing and is absolutely nothing but a blip on a radar that he probably doesn't even remember now to the other guy.
Wow.
It's so interesting how this is going to work out in 199 and 200 episodes, and then today's too. It's crazy. So
fascinating.
Buckle up, strap in. You got 3 weeks of good stuff coming up ahead of you. Three crazy episodes. And then after that, they're all going to be terrible. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, it's going to be wonderful for that. But quickly,
we'll sink the ship.
And we'll sink this ship right in the ground. And run it right ashore. Right into the iceberg.
Right into an oyster bed.
You know it. Quickly, before we get started, just want to thank everybody for the reviews this week. If you have not done it yet, please get on Apple Podcast, the purple icon, or Stitcher works as well if you listen on there. Give us 5 stars. Doesn't matter what you say. You can say you're following instructions, following directions. It doesn't matter, but it helps on the business end for some reason. We wish we knew why, but we don't invent the algorithms that make the charts and how that works. I don't invent anything. No. So, it helps drive us up the charts. So thank you if you've done it, and please get on it if you haven't. That helps a lot. Also, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com for everything crime and sports and small town murder related. And if you're not listening to Small Town Murder, obviously you're missing out. It's insane. It's crazy. It's murder all the time, and just as nuts as just as nuts as crime and sports, except all murder. So check that out.
Is that a Beastie Boys song?
All murder all the time.
I think it was a party all the time. No, that's fucking Eddie Murphy. That's what
my
that
girl
is.
wants to party all the time.
I don't know why I'd
party all the time.
Labeled that as 3 Jewish guys from
party
Long
all the
Island.
time.
Staten Island? Is it Long Island?
Brooklyn. They're all over. They're a mishmash. They're a mishmash. But thank you for everyone that's done that. Listen to Small Town Murder. Check that out. Tickets to live shows are up right now. Like we said, another Crime and Sports live show is going to be in Phoenix in October at the Tempe Improv.
Yes.
Those tickets should be up, I would assume, by the next show. So follow us on social media at Crime and Sports, and you can find out exactly when those tickets go on sale, because I think they're going to sell quick.
It should.
Because there's not a lot of Crime and Sports live shows. They're a rare gem. When they happen, people flock. So thank you for doing that. Of course, also, if you want to be a bigger hero to the show, very easily, you want to be one of our producers. You can do that. You can absolutely do that by going to patreon.com/crimeinsports or heading over to PayPal using our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com. And you'll also get access to Patreon stuff and extra bonus episode things and all sorts of stuff like that. And you get to be gushed about as one of our producers at the end of the show have Jimmie mispronounce your name. It's good stuff.
We are gushers.
We are gushers. We are appreciative is what we are. And because of that, we put together insane stories. And this is one of them,
Great.
Jimmie. This is, like I said, top 5 on the danger meter as far as people. This isn't like, oh, he got pulled over for a bunch of DUIs and had some coke on him once in a while. And he's kind of fun and
we
crazy.
On the highway, James?
We're
highway to the
danger zone.
Yeah.
We're right into the teeth of the danger zone here.
All right.
This isn't even like, and not to downplay this, but this isn't even like he beat his wife up a few times, which is god awful and whatever. But this is something completely different. This is
a dangerous society.
A danger. Oh, absolutely. Society is a great way to put it because it's literally anybody and everybody in society. So let's get to it here. It's a guy that you've never heard of, I guarantee it. And because he's a bodybuilder.
Oh.
Now, if you've not listened to all the Crime and Sports, we have had, I think, like 4 bodybuilder episodes, and they're 4 out of the 10 craziest episodes.
Comparatively, they really
nuts.
They really
are.
show you how a criminal athlete behaves.
And they're fun, too, because there's no sports in these whatsoever. It's like in 92, he won a bodybuilding tournament. Anyway, back to there's no we can't say what his stats were, where he had 8 flexes on a it's 3 out of the 8 were top bicep, and then he went to the lat. What the fuck are we going to talk about? There's no stats for that. It's like an offensive lineman.
He did a show where he was oily.
You can't even talk about like, well, his team did this that year. There isn't even that. No. There's nothing. It's just him. It'd be like if it was a golfer that just didn't golf that year. Like I don't know what happened. So he's a bodybuilder, and his name is David Francis Bieber. Like
Francis,
Justin.
okay.
David Francis Bieber, who sounds like
same spelling of Bieber.
Yeah. B-I. It's B-I-E, right?
I think he's B-I-E.
Yeah, that's B-I-E.
Is he B-E-I?
This one's B-I-E, B-E-R.
Here's the thing. I'm not a believer, so I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't know Eber, but it was too much. My mouth almost said it anyway, so I had to do it. So but David Francis Bieber sounds like a nice little young boy.
He does.
With like a propeller hat on, and you'd spin it. And look
nice
at you little fucker. Yeah, look at you.
Tight.
On your way to church, are you? Okay. So he's born February 3rd, 1966. Old Dave Bieber.
Older guy.
He's an older guy now. He was born down in Fort Myers, Florida.
Of course he was.
This story will not be contained to the United States. The UK will play a huge part in this story.
Really?
Oh, this is a crossing the pond type of thing.
Boy from Fort Myers done well and got across the pond.
He didn't do well at all. His trip across the pond was not a good trip. It was the same trip that people would make like escaping Cuba, pretty much is what he did. It's an interesting thing here.
Okay.
A lot of interesting information on the background came from a Guardian article that they had a couple things that Guardian.com. Guardian.com. They had a couple things that nobody else had, so I had to give them credit for that. But he's born in 1966, and Florida, by the way, back then was not what Florida is now. Right. I mean, it's a cesspool, obviously, but it was still a cesspool, but
still a swamp,
a way less populated swamp.
Right.
The 70s, Florida, from 60 to 70 is when Florida like exploded.
Okay.
But it was still like backwoods and swamp. There was like Miami, and there was Orlando wasn't really a city.
Jacksonville was just bigger.
Yeah, Tampa was, because it's a Navy town, so it's always been something. Tampa was like a backwoods.
Okay.
They really hadn't come into their own yet. Right. It was definitely, Florida was way different in the 60s. So this was people who wanted to not be afraid of having an alligator in their yard, basically.
Or in their bed.
Or in their bed, yeah.
Right.
And the people who figured out, if we screen this porch in, I think we can live here. If you go to Florida,
skaters ain't so bad when there's screens.
Everyone's got a screened-in porch because otherwise...
They get screened in fucking pools, James.
You have to. It's hell on earth otherwise. It's hell on earth. It's a tropical hellhole.
Everything
it's awful.
Flies. It's so scary.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's a place where it feels that you can feel the malaria just buzzing in the air. It's fucking disgusting.
It comes from all angles. Everything is like, there are big animals that come right at you waist height. There are the little fucking gators that you can't even see those.
And then there's roosters that you're not even allowed to defend yourself against.
They're everywhere.
And they're everywhere in Tampa. So
and somebody's sharpening those talons because they are, Jesus Christ.
They're running on concrete.
That's what does it.
them. Yeah, if you do that with dogs, they they trim down.
Yeah.
They're sharpening up. Squawk, squawk, coming at you, getting behind people's cars.
Horrifying.
I love watching someone have to get out of their car and shoo roosters away. I just want to go, maybe you guys should take care of that. Huh? I get
pellet guns,
I get that the roosters were there, but it's time for the fucking roosters to be off the street now. I'm sorry, but when it's like disrupting,
you let them breathe.
Actual life,
right?
Yeah, they're running around free, like, and people don't touch the roosters. What are you, fucking nuts?
I wasn't gonna.
Oh yeah, what are you, crazy? Why would I fucking go near the rooster? They're wild roosters.
They've got a knife on their face.
They have to have diseases, I'm sure. Just running around wild like that. What if you're homeless in that town? That's got to be really frightening.
You wake up and getting picked apart.
Well, you have to worry about, like, police bothering you. You have to worry about, like, other homeless people rolling you and taking all your shit, a la Bubbles. You have to worry about a Bubbles situation. You're walking with your cart and you're getting rolled by another junkie.
Jesus, is that a wire reference?
It's a wire reference. Yeah, you got that. You got that kind of situation, and then on top of all of this shit, you have to worry about roosters pecking your face while you sleep. Jesus fuck! Got to make sure you have no like Cheeto crumbs on your beard when you go to sleep, because you're going to wake up with a pack. You got to
have like a lockbox to stuff all the food that you have. If you're storing a bit of food or whatever, any valuable.
Don't people do that when they camp for bears?
Yeah, I imagine. You got to keep it in like some sort of tin of some sort.
Something where it keeps bears out,
where they're not getting in it. Or they can't even smell it. You got to be able just to.
I think they can. Yeah, otherwise you don't want to have.
You got to have a fucking trash locker.
Otherwise, it's just a golden corral in the woods for a bear. They're just like, hey, look at this.
Look at this. It's sweet tomato.
Hey, shit, terrible hot dogs. All right, great, wonderful. This is awesome. Fuck yeah. Right in the middle of the woods.
It's actually a step above the old Golden Corral, probably.
Yeah, probably.
The food's done.
You know what? You're right. A box of fucking old warm hot dogs in the woods that's superior to Golden Corral. If you've ever been to Golden Corral,
so bad.
You can't. I went one time to Golden Corral.
It was enough.
It was in the middle of nowhere, driving back from somewhere.
But you have to go to know.
Well, I was with Josh there. Yeah. You know Josh, and we were. We were driving back. We went fishing, and it was years ago, like 10 years ago. We went fishing, and on the way back, there's a Golden Corral, and we're like, I don't know, there's food there.
We were starving.
We were starving. Yeah. We were fishing since like 6 in the morning. It's not like we were going to fillet it and cook it on the side of the road, even if we did. Oh, let me pop one of these fish out of the cooler. I'll eat it like a fucking Snickers bar on the way back to Phoenix.
I'm just going to suck on this head first.
This is pretty good. I'm getting some protein, I feel like.
Now you know that's a better move than Golden Corral.
Now. You know what? We should have just eaten them like fucking hand fruit in the car, because we got in there, and first of all, youngest people by 30 years, which was hilarious anyway.
You were both pieces of ass.
Forget about it. We could have found a sugar mama, no problem. I mean, she would have had a walker. We'd have to help her in the car, but it's fine. The food was
She's got a paid off house, and when she dies, it goes back to the government,
Not if I get involved. So we sit to eat this food, and we went up like 12 times and never got more than one bite of anything, because we'd bite and we'd laugh. It wasn't even bad enough to like, oh, that's terrible. We're like, oh my God, that's food? Holy shit, dude, you got to try this. It's the worst fucking. Oh my God, that's awesome.
I can't believe people are eating this with smiles.
They had this tuna salad, right? And it was
that was not tuna.
A bowl, and out of the middle of the bowl was a mound of tuna sticking up like a Hawaiian island,
like decoration,
and around it was a milky white pool of water.
Oh my God.
That the tuna and water had separated. So it was like an island sitting in a pool of water.
Oh my God.
And it was the grossest thing I've ever seen, and I just remember stopping and just staring at it for like a while, just going, whoa, this is fucking deep. Like, this shit's real. People eat this shit.
Does somebody bring their grandchild in here and build like something out of the tuna salad?
Yeah. And I'm not looking down. Like, I was poor as fuck at the time. That's why we stopped at Golden Corral. We can eat a bunch for like $8. No, you can't. You really can't. That's the problem.
You can pay $8, but you're not going to be able to get much of that down your throat.
It's technically food, sort of, I guess.
It's got some sort of calories.
Oh,
I don't think there's much of anything else in it.
Fucking disgusting.
Sodium and calories. That's about it.
Golden Corral in the woods. Be careful with your camping food. So you're right, though. It is better.
Oh God, is that a bad place? My dad actually likes it.
Does he? He's
Honest
the guy?
to goodness,
he was one of the people sitting in there eating. And we're
he's
like,
from Jacksonville, man.
Okay, yeah, that's considered culture in Jacksonville. Yeah. That's like they don't even have museums. They have a Golden Corral that they built in '87.
Right?
Yeah, you guys got a museum? Well, there's a Golden Corral we built in '87. I mean, that's historic. It's pretty old. Right?
That's about the only thing that lasts around here.
We got a picture of Pat Sajak up to the side. He came in one time in '89.
Didn't really come in per se. His car broke down. But he was here.
I mean, he needed to use the bathroom. Let's be realistic. But we said, all right, on one condition.
Yeah.
And there it is. There's our condition up on the wall.
What do you guys charge for using your toilet? One signed Pat Sajak.
Even if you're not Pat Sajak, right. That's the thing. Chuck Woolery came one time and he was like, I don't have any signed pictures of Pat Sajak. Like,
you can shit your pants, Chuck.
You better write Pat Sajak on a picture of somebody is what I'm telling you, boy. Understand me? It's like, all right.
Real big Wheel of Fortune fans around here.
He did it, and he ran to the bathroom and said, I'll be back in 2 and 2. Couldn't help it. Chuck,
you son of a bitch.
Chuck gets a quick, fires off a quick log. That's all it is.
Right after this.
I'm delirious today. I'm delirious. Yeah. Oh, my God. All right. Back to David Justin Bieber here.
Yes.
David Francis Bieber. He loves the Golden Corral. Now, he grew up in a middle class in Fort Myers, Florida. Like, his parents were respectable people. He didn't grow up in, like a Hell's Angels family. Or
not Florida squalor.
No. His father was a principal of a school.
Oh.
I mean, and his mother is a retired school teacher. So his parents are both educators. So generally,
no goddamn excuse.
No, stable upbringing, very stable, very normal people, everything fine. Childhood, easy. We talked to some people's childhoods. Anthony Rumble Johnson.
Oh, God.
Christ almighty, that poor bastard is fucking mothered at best case scenario, because we don't know what the truth is. Best case scenario, dropped him in some boiling water when he was a kid for no reason. And, that's the type of upbringings that we're used to.
Surprised he's not a murderer.
That's what I mean. And then this guy's just like, everything was great. Yeah. Fine. Totally easy family. So, everything. He's got a younger sister named Michelle, who, that's it. So it's David and Michelle, and Frank and Sandy are the parents.
Got it.
School teachers there. He's a happy kid, good athlete. He's only 5'10" when he grows up, but he's a really good athlete, very athletic, very agile, and very strong, as we'll get into, obviously, to be a bodybuilder. And right away, I won't make the mistake. We know there's a difference between weightlifting and bodybuilding, because if we have a bodybuilding episode and we accidentally say weightlifting at some point, weightlifters tweet us.
They lose their minds.
Yeah, because weightlifting
we take this real damn serious around here.
I want to pick up a goddamn Volkswagen, and someday I'm going to do it. No, weightlifting is about how much weight you can lift. Bodybuilding is about what you look like. It doesn't matter if you can't lift shit. It's if you look great, terrific. Yeah. So that's the difference, I guess, there. But he was a great athlete. Everything suburbs, easy family, easy life. Things are kind of like a real easygoing American life for this kid. He plays baseball and football, and he's a swimmer growing up. Wow. He's a really good swimmer, as a matter of fact.
There's a lot of athletes from Fort Myers.
A lot in Florida. A lot of athletes in Florida. I don't understand.
I don't know what it is.
I don't know if it's.
Is it all year long stuff?
But
that's here too.
Well, no, you can't do anything in the summer here. It's hot as fuck. It's like a winter.
You can do it indoors.
So you can do anything indoors.
But there's all kinds of indoors places to do it here, too.
That's true. Yeah, I guess so. Florida and California have that, where they have all these athletes, and half of it has to be the fact that you can do it all year round. So there's a buildup of a skill set that if you live in Pennsylvania, you don't get when you have to take 6 months off of baseball if you play it all year round. But at the same time, a lot of it has to be natural talent, too, and ability and athletic ability. Yeah. Only thing I can think of possibly that I could attribute it to is maybe genetic diversity. A lot of people, we say it all the time, and you see genetic diversity works. You get people of very different backgrounds. You put them together and you get fucking, The Rock, and you get Derek Jeter and shit like that happening for you.
A-Rod. Granted, minus October, but
just Puerto Rican.
He's still amazing.
He's only Puerto Rican, though. Yeah, he's just
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm positive.
No, I'm sure you are.
Super Puerto Rican. Yeah. Very Puerto Rican, and that's all, which is fine. But I mean, that, even Puerto Rico, though, is a diverse place because that's why every people from Puerto Rico, there's a huge, we talked about on the Rusty Torres episode, colors of the rainbow there. It's an island. So a lot of people stop there, and there's a lot of genetic diversity there. So you're going to get that. That's what you get in a lot of these islands. And
it's fascinating stuff.
So maybe that California, I don't know what it is, but for some reason, a lot of athletes there. When he's 13 years old, he sets a Florida state record for the 100-yard breaststroke. Oh. So that's, I don't know, in swimming, obviously. Yeah. It's not a baseball.
No. I watch that a lot with my kid because he's
a swimmer.
Yeah, he's 11 and does that a lot.
He sets a Florida state record. That's awesome. Guy. So
how old?
13.
Okay, so that's going to stand for a minute.
Dude's a badass. Yeah. I mean, he's a beast in the pool apparently, and apparently everything just goes well for this guy. Like he's just one of these people where he's good looking, athletic. Yeah. School comes easy. Things come easy to this guy. Right. I used to remember those people in high school. I'm like, how does this work for you?
Right.
How does all this work for you?
Son of a bitch, Bryce Cartler. This dude was so fucking handsome. He made it to the he got drafted. He played baseball, played for ASU, I think. Yes. Yeah. And then got drafted by the Yankees. He didn't make it past AAA. Take that, motherfucker.
You do. Yeah. Take that, failure.
Suck it.
Yeah.
And then he fucking bought a construction company with his money. That's fine. And he's doing great today.
His wife's like really hot.
Hot as fuck.
He's probably got
He's still crushing
it. That's what I mean. Everybody can think that's like the myth of it is like that athlete later on. Right. He's gonna, when he's fat and bald and he has 4 kids in the trailer park.
Doesn't happen.
I'm gonna be an engineer, and that's it. No, he'll still be fine. You can go be an engineer also, and you have a great life too. But he's probably still gonna be athletic and have a more attractive wife than you, and his kids will be more attractive, and then they'll do better in life. And
it just keeps going.
It just keeps going.
Guess what? He may not make the majors, but his son, when he's MVP, then they talk about Pop used to play in the minors.
As a kid too, I used to attribute it just to, because I was like, well, what do they have and I used to just attribute it to, well, their families have money. Right. You know what I mean? So I would attribute it to that.
Advantages.
Yeah, it's like, well, of course you have confidence. You have like a 2-year-old car that your dad bought you, and like I'm driving a fucking Oldsmobile. It's got rust on it. And I'd attribute it to that. I don't think that's what it is. No. It's part of it. Yeah. It is part of it. It's
certainly a leg up.
It's a confidence thing, I think, too. Kids,
but there's also drive and determination and deep-seated confidence of I can do this. Whereas me, I looked at it and I was like, I can do it for fun.
Yeah, I'm
not going to do anything beyond that.
I would be very much just like, well, fuck him then, and angry at someone for, And
that's where I hang on to it.
That's why I was an angry person as a child.
And well, fuck you.
Yeah.
I don't care about what you can do.
Yeah, good for you. 100, setting the record, huh? Good for you.
I'm going to go drink beer.
Yeah, that's just because...
I'm 14.
That's because your dad bought you a Mustang. That's why you set the record in the 100-yard breaststroke, But when you're a kid, that's what you think, though. That's what I thought, anyway.
You know how your dad has a deep wallet for cars and shit? Mine has a bunch of beer in the fridge that he didn't count.
And you know what else he has? An extra fridge in the garage.
Right. He lost track of that a long time ago.
You could take as many beers as you want out of there. So my life's going pretty sweet, too. Okay? Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Florida State Record. Fucking dick. So a friend of his named Bobby Ammons, who went to school with him and grew up with him, all through school in Florida, said, quote, he could have been a model. He was a great looking guy. The kind of shape he was in is phenomenal. Of course, he drove around in, a nice car, and he always had money. Yeah. That's what I mean. Yeah. It all goes hand in hand in hand. Yeah. How many kids did you know in high school that were like super confident, popular, did great, hot girls and all that, and were super fucking poor and didn't have
drove a piece of shit car?
Not a lot.
Nobody.
That's the thing.
Nobody.
Not a lot. You get the dude that not a lot. It just wasn't a thing. Like
there were 2 twins that were ugly as fuck, and they had a badass Tahoe that was slammed on the ground on 20s, and they were popular as fuck.
See, that's the difference too. You went to high school in Phoenix where like there are like, especially your area that you grew up, there's people that are poor as fuck that live in there, and there's rich as fuck kids that live in that area too. They all go to that school.
Sports athletes with their goddamn kids at my school.
Absolutely.
And then me.
That's what I mean.
With stolen Tommy Hilfiger shirts.
I had bootleg ones from the Bronx, so I get it.
Well, I didn't steal them from Macy's. I stole them from Ross.
I just bought them from fucking Asian ladies on the street in the Bronx.
I got a Perry Ellis jacket, but it has the P missing, so it just says Ari Ellis.
Ari Ellis. Is this a real guest shirt? $12. You're like, well, okay. I guess
probably not.
Yeah, I guess it's a real. No, but I guess I'll buy it. It looks fine. It says guess on it.
It's real enough.
It's fine. Real enough for me in 1994, 5, 6, whatever the fuck it was.
Right.
So yeah, like I said, hand in hand. All these things go hand in hand. But another friend of his, Greg Martin, said that it always was that way for him. Just always easy. All the girls liked him. All the people liked him. Yeah. Teachers liked him. Just had it easy. This Greg Martin guy said, quote, when I went over to his house, it was full of swimming trophies. That really kind of started his physique, because even as an 11-year-old, he had a better body than the rest of us. He was stronger than us. Yeah. So that's just athletically superior.
At 11, he's making other 11-year-olds feel fucking...
Yeah. They're like, oh.
Yeah.
Which all he did is just had early puberty, is what that means, probably. It's just, But
and also...
At that age, though, that's like, you have people with... and it's got to be the same for girls too, because you have girls that are 13 that have fucking giant tits, and you have girls that are 13 that are not
like
at all, nothing, because they're children, and they all develop at different paces. Same thing with boys. You'll have boys that are muscular and have hairy balls when they're 12, and then they're standing next to a kid who's got like, whoa, holy
what
shit,
the fuck is this?
This is scary.
Meanwhile, though, dude, 40 50
Same locker room.
Yes, 40 50 hours in a pool during the week will change your body.
Oh, that
it is
too,
amazing what it does.
Absolutely.
There
It's
are
great
kids that are 15, 16 years old that swim with my boy that I'm blown away with how much of men they look like. I'm like, I never looked like you son of a bitch.
You just sounded like such a pedophile. That was amazing. There's boys that swim with my son James. Their bodies are incredible. They're taut. They
just have shoulders, and
they're
like
firm but supple. You know what I mean? I can't describe it to you, James. It's just amazing.
I'm just 39, looking at them, going, "You bastard!"
Let's just say I don't mind these 3-day swim tournaments. Let's just say that.
Ruining my weekend to stare at these hot bastards.
You hot bastards. You hot shit son of a bitch.
I'm telling you, man, it's crazy. They don't even lift weights, but they've got pecs. And I'm like, how does that even happen?
What is going on?
How do you do that? And it's just from the
water
butterfly.
Resistance.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's resistance
and just using that muscle group that much constantly.
Yeah.
50 fucking hours a week.
Jesus
That'll do
Christ.
it. Well, you got 50 hours to spare, because I fucking don't.
No, see, that's
I'm
the
be
problem.
A fat doughy shit.
I'm not
being
11
jealous
either.
Of it. Yeah.
At 11, you really have time to do anything. You could learn.
It's crazy.
If you're 11 right now, you could just pick up a clarinet and you'll get good at it eventually, because you have plenty of time. Right. Like, you might not be like, first chair or some philharmonic somewhere, but you'll be able to play songs and freak people out at parties and shit. You could whip out a clarinet and start playing the theme song to something. People will be like, "Oh shit, you'll get laid for that." That stupid shit will get you laid if someone's stoned and in the right state of mind and be like, "I like his fucking style. This is good shit."
I'm gonna fuck that guy willingly.
I'm gonna fuck him.
I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, this is pretty good. I like it. He's entertaining. At 11, you could do that. Whereas right now, if I gave you a clarinet and I check back in with you in 25 years, you'd go, I go, "Thank you." Exactly. That's what I thought. Never mind.
You didn't even have time, did you?
No,
fuck.
I've never picked it up. Never took it out of the box once.
This is the first day, James.
First day.
25 years later.
Doesn't work.
I think this thing's broken, actually.
I'm not positive. I think you should take it back to the store. Are they still open now? 25 years later?
The spit valve's certainly full.
It's super gross.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's getting, and as he swims, he becomes more muscular.
Yeah.
And also, he joins the football team in high school as well.
Of course.
And he starts lifting weights. So now he's lifting weights, swimming like a madman, playing baseball, playing football. Doing everything, driving a nice car, having money,
having a life,
having having a better life than I've ever had as a teenager.
Pay my fucking bills. Yeah. Let me do this.
Yeah, I want to be this guy. Can I be this guy? Can we? Can you know what?
Back 20 years.
I'm not going to be selfish.
No?
Not even just can I be this guy. Can we be this guy? Can two adults together?
I would love this.
Have the happiness of one 16-year-old, like in the 70s.
Right?
Can we just have that? I don't think it's a lot to ask for. We work hard. We try.
We're pushing.
The Martin guy said, quote, David was getting bigger than a lot of us. He was really starting to get some good size on him. And some of us were starting to rumor, hey, maybe David's using steroids. And as a matter of fact, he was definitely using steroids. He's going to really, really, really enjoy a lot of steroids. And when we talk about bodybuilder steroids, because we haven't done a bodybuilder episode since, holy shit, Kimbrough, maybe.
Wow.
It was like 100 episodes ago. It was so long ago. Then we had Bertle Fox.
Right. I think that was the last one.
What about that Kimbrough guy? He was later. He was after
later?
Bertle Fox. I think he was after Bertle Fox.
I thought it was Bertle.
I think Bertle was like 60
You
something.
might be right, because Bertle was like when he was
like the 80s
shitting
episode.
concrete, right?
Yeah, shitting concrete. Exactly. Thank you for remembering that. I think that was Bertle.
That's the guy eating like 2-foot-long tuna sandwiches. Probably from goddamn Golden Corral.
Jesus. Oh, no, not with that water like that. I'd give someone anything to just take a straw to that water. Anything you want.
I have 20 on that.
Anything you want, you can have. Just take a straw.
$20 is worth the gag that's coming next.
And really put it like look like a chick on a Diet Coke commercial when she takes a sip. Like she's like, ooh, that's good. Like at the same time she's zipping like one of those. She's getting lipstick on it.
I want like tasty. A fun, crazy straw. Like,
yeah,
I want to watch it go up the spiral and everything.
I want to see it.
Hit your fucking lips.
Slower.
Not so fast.
Now all at once. Take it down. One shot.
God, Jesus, that's gross.
So, yeah, the Ammons guy said he and Bieber started taking steroids together. Okay. Now, steroids, like we said, people have used a lot of steroids, and we've talked about baseball players. Lenny Dykstra is very open about his steroid use. That's a different type of steroid use.
That's an anabolic one?
No. I don't mean different type of steroids.
Oh.
They're using them differently.
Yeah.
Like Lenny Dykstra using steroids was, I'd like to make those doubles to the warning track go over the wall.
Right.
That's what that is. Right. I'd like to get an extra 25 feet on my fucking, and you know, a little easier recovery from game to game, get an extra 25 feet. Instead of hitting 11 home runs, maybe I hit 26 home runs.
There you go.
And that's worth an extra, $20 million.
Right.
That's baseball player steroids. This is jam as much steroids into your body as it can hold.
Right.
Whereas if you stuck him with a pin, green juice would pour out that kills flowers on the ground. Like that's as much steroids as he's got in him.
Right.
So you just get as packed and swollen. So it's a different type. Don't associate Barry Bonds or whoever with this. This is different.
If he pisses in the same spot in the urinal, it will burn a hole in it.
Yeah, absolutely. He will be like Eddie Murphy in Raw. No, fire come out my dick when I pee. No, fire come out my dick.
Fire.
So you have a burning sensation when you urinate? No, fire come out my dick. I can't piss in my house. I burn my house down. I gotta go outside, piss out on the street.
That's what this is.
That's what this is.
This is acid.
He pisses pure steroid.
Have you ever gotten a message out of the blue? Maybe you ignore them. Or maybe you end up in conversation. Maybe they tell you about an amazing offer.
I can really show you how to make some money.
And maybe that gets you into a lot of trouble. But this isn't a story about people like you, the people receiving these messages. This is a story about the people behind the messages, on the other end of the line. Thousands of them, working in a microcity built for scammers. From Wondery, the makers of Dr. Death and Kill List, comes Scam Factory, a new series about survival at the expense of others. Follow Scam Factory on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Scam Factory early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.
Acid. Yeah. So it's just totally a different
and it's
thing.
Because the goal is different.
The goal is maximum pump. Right. Even wrestlers don't. It's not this. Right. We're talking wrestlers. They still have to be able to move around and wrestle and be athletic.
This guy is building to go from I can bench 280 right now. I want to bench 590.
And he gets to the point, and it's got to be the looks of it too. You're trying to swell every muscle. He gets to the point where he can't cross his legs because his thighs are too muscular. That's the type of thing we're talking about. Like a wrestler, they have to be able to take a suplex still and do things and move and be agile.
He can't cross his legs.
These people are like human statues. Yeah. Like they might as well be just wheeled out on a what the fuck on a hand dolly, on a hand cart and placed there and have it pulled away and then come collect them later on. Yeah, just put them in a glass case for the night. There you go, with a bunch of chicken and potatoes and steroids. Enjoy. So, but I guess this Ammons guy said that Bieber really got into the steroids. He said, quote, he got even bigger and stronger than he already was. And another Greg Martin, the other guy again, he's a teacher nowadays, by the way. So
really?
He didn't follow the same road here as Bieber at all.
Followed his parents' road.
He followed his, well, I don't know if Greg Martin's parents.
Bieber's parents.
Bieber's parents, yeah. He says, quote, we had no signs anything like what happened would happen. His father did a good job raising him, and I know he is heartbroken about it. Oh. David was a bright, polite, very athletic, really the best athlete in school, and always very well-mannered.
Foreshadowing.
Oh, yeah. Who would have thought it would end like this? That's what we're talking about here. That's a lot of this week. 2 different universities scouted him for football scholarships.
Really?
So he had scholarship offers. Universities, yeah. He had scholarship offers, but nothing panned out for him in that. He decided not to go to college, and instead he graduates high school all jacked up on steroids. Yeah. Fucking wind in his hair with a nice car and hot women and just life is his oyster and all sorts of letters on his jacket. Things are going great. Grace. Yeah. This is Grace. I'm sorry. It's over. This is Grace.
High school hero.
Does not get any better. It can't get any better than that unless this guy becomes a star NFL quarterback or has some crazy how is life? This kid has no, and I'm going to say this, he has no worries at all. He's a kid, so he has no bills. Right. He has no concerns. He doesn't have kids he has to worry about.
In lawless 70s Florida.
Do anything you want. You could just kill people and dump them in a swamp there. Just kick them right into it. Alligators would eat it up. It's no problem. Right. Cocaine, blocks of coke just floating off the shore. You can just pick it up and snort your body weight in it.
You got to push the coke aside to dispose of a body.
That's what you had to do. Jesus Christ. Who's leaving all their coke here and I'm trying to dispose of my fucking business associate? Jesus Christ. It's real. Florida's becoming a mess. I'm telling you right now. You used to be able to throw a body. Now the sharks are too fucked up to even eat the body. They're on all this coke. They don't even want to eat.
America's panhandle.
It is. It's America's taint. So they scouted him. Grace. He's done with high school. Like I said, it can't get any better than that. Just because your time in your life, you have no worries.
It's incredible.
I don't care if you're not going on vacations or whatever. You have no worries, and life is great. So that's 84 is when he graduates, and he's huge and big, and he decides he's going into the Marines.
Really?
That's his decision. He's going to be a Marine at this point.
Okay.
I don't know what. I mean, good for you.
Him.
I don't know. Yeah, go into the Marines.
But at that point. It's kind of heroic there because he's got opportunity and offers to go somewhere else.
No, he could not do this if he wants. He doesn't have to. Yeah, it's not like, I have nothing going on. He could go to college. He could do a lot of different things, and he decides to go into the Marines here, and he joins the Marines, and you'd think it might be a good a good match for him.
Except for
the fact that he's barely a year and he is dishonorably discharged for punching an instructor.
Wow.
You can't do that.
That's not how I thought that was going to go.
You can't do that. If you've ever seen Full Metal Jacket, after he punched the instructor, he then blew his brains out because he really fucked up bad there. You can't do that.
It was over.
Yeah, you're in deep shit if you punched an instructor. So they kicked his ass out. Later on, he said that boot camp in South Carolina. Didn't suit him.
No?
Just didn't suit him, he said.
I can't imagine.
No, he said, quote, we got to march around like a bunch of idiots and were yelled at a lot. That was his...
Sounds like boot camp.
I think that's boot camp. Yeah. Marching around getting yelled at a lot. Right. I think if he's ever seen a movie, that's boot camp.
Yep.
You shouldn't be surprised by that.
There's never been a movie where that wasn't involved.
It would be like saying, I went and played football, just a bunch of dudes tackling each other and throwing a ball around. Yeah, that's football. Exactly.
I went to boot camp. We sat on the beach and drank Mai Tais.
It was great.
The worst boot camp I've ever seen.
I will say the best massage I've ever had. I got on that, though. That was wonderful.
In boot camp.
Came home loose as a goose. I was feeling good about myself.
Boot camp.
Boot camp.
Somebody else shined my boots for me.
It was wonderful.
Took my gun apart, put it back together for me.
It was fabulous.
It was great.
You ever see in those old movies, like when pharaohs are being fed grapes by people? That's what they were doing.
Boot camp.
Just whole grape things and lowering it into my mouth. Boot camp. March around like a bunch of idiots and were yelled at a lot. Mm-hmm. And
that didn't work out for you?
I don't know what he expected out of the military. That's the thing that what was he thinking it was going to be?
This wasn't in the brochure.
Yeah.
What was it, stuck together? What are you talking about?
When you think of a Marine, like drill instructor, you see a stern-looking person yelling.
Right.
That's exactly what you're doing. And you know what he's yelling at people to do? Fucking march more.
Right. Run harder.
March harder. Right. So you're marching and being yelled at to march.
In circles, going nowhere.
Doesn't matter.
Aimless. Doesn't matter.
A base.
You're just doing what this idiot says.
There's even an enemy.
Right.
You're just on a base pretending.
Boot camp.
Yeah, boot camp. Not his thing. Didn't suit him. He did gain a sharpshooter qualification there. So he's a good shooter.
Yeah.
He's good with guns, and he likes guns, as we'll talk about later on.
That's probably the allure of the Marines.
I think that's probably what it was. He likes guns, and he has desire to murder, as we'll find out as well.
Right?
So I feel like maybe I'll go kill people. And he was there a year, and he's like, we're still not in a fucking war?
We're not. Where's the killing?
Jesus
soldiers?
Christ. I thought Nam's not still happening? 10 years ago? Jesus Christ, really? It's ended?
Peacetime?
I'm voting for Nixon. This is ridiculous. I want fucking Nam back. I feel
nobody told me we were in peace.
This is ridiculous.
And then he just punched somebody, and he's thrown out.
And you're out when you punch Arlie Army.
We'll start not peacetime.
Yeah. His friend Ammon said, quote, he realized this ain't for me. People here actually tell me what to do. He didn't like that. The authority thing really didn't fly with him. Why did you?
Who didn't explain this to him?
That's the number one thing about the Marines that I would say is that they're going to yell at you and you're not allowed to do anything you want because you're in the fucking Marines.
Because they own you.
You signed a thing that
you literally said you own me.
Yeah, please yell at me and make me march around like an idiot.
Cut my hair how you want.
However you want.
I don't care.
Right, fucking draw a dick on the back and baldness. I don't care.
I'll wear what you want.
I have to.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
Give me a gun. I march.
Yep.
I'm good at it.
So, trust me. Otherwise, I get yelled at more. So he ends up getting, like I said, not honorably discharged, not even dishonorably. They went, it's just non-honorably probably. So in 86, he moves back to Fort Myers, Florida. Mm-hmm. And at this point, now what do? You're stuck.
Yeah.
You're back in Florida.
It's ugly.
You've kind of blown not like you can go take a football scholarship after you've spent a year and a half in the Marines. You've blown that.
You're not much of a team player if you punched the guy in charge at boot camp.
Yeah, the Marines, you can't exactly put that on a job application right now. Well, I was in the Marines for 14 months.
How'd that work out?
14 months. Don't they usually sign you up for a little longer than that? Not if you punch your instructor, they don't. Wink, wink. So, when do I start? Probably not the best way to get a job. So he's got problems.
Yeah.
So what does he do? Dives into bodybuilding full time. He's going to be a competitive fucking bodybuilder.
That's one way to do it when nobody's telling you what to do.
Yeah, that's
You're your own boss.
Yeah, you can stick yourself full of steroids all you want, and this is when he blows up. I'm talking everything he can get his hands on. He's pumping into his body.
Yeah.
Gets enormous. I mean, he is fucking monstrous.
Yeah.
And he's 5'10", which is a good height for a bodybuilder too. You don't want to be too tall and be a bodybuilder, as we've talked about. The Arnold Schwarzenegger model is
it's tough to put all that muscle
exception.
on that body.
It just no matter how much muscle mass you have, it doesn't look the same if it's spread out that way.
Yeah.
It's just weird unless you're a freak like an Arnold in the 70s, freak of nature. But we all don't have Arnold Schwarzenegger's genetics.
No,
probably. His head's the size of a fucking Cadillac Escalade. His jaws, he's just a different kind of human that we're not all like. So we're not all giant Austrians.
No.
So yeah, he's really, really taken a shitload of steroids, and people said that you could tell his demeanor changed. He just was a different guy.
Sure.
When you're on that much steroids, it's
very obvious.
It's very obvious. And I think a lot of the times the roid rage and shit like that is overblown for people who take a mild amount of steroids. Like, if you read Jose Canseco's book, the Juiced book, and it's funny because everybody laughed at him, as you should, because he's a fucking idiot. He's a total idiot. But the thing about the book is everything he says in it is totally true, at least to his mind.
He's honest to what he expects is honesty.
Yeah, and I wouldn't take his advice on a lot of things.
Anything?
I wouldn't say, hey, Jose, I have this thing with my taxes. Is it a deduction if I wouldn't go to Jose with that? You know what I mean? I wouldn't go to Jose with...
You don't think he's great with money?
I don't know what it is. Probably not. Maybe because he's had multiple houses repossessed and he's always bankrupt, possibly.
And he made $130 million.
He made millions of dollars.
There's no reason he should have anything repossessed.
Certain things like that I would not take Jose's advice on. But one thing I would take his advice on is steroids.
Yeah.
Because he really knows steroids better than anyone, I would say. He knows steroids probably as well as any doctor knows steroids.
Or a chemist.
Or a chemist. He's been doing it since the 1985, 1986, and he really had made it his whole life, his whole livelihood. It was his clarinet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He had time and he did it. And he talks about how you mix it, how you cycle it, how to do this so you don't end up destroying your body. Right. And I mean, not for nothing, but that dude, I'm not saying go take steroids, but I mean, if you're that good at it and whatever, you look at that guy right now, he's in his 50s. He looks fucking great.
He does.
He looks fantastic.
He's not hobbling.
He doesn't look, a lot of the people who took too much, you see him, they look awful.
Yeah.
He's not that guy.
No.
He looks fantastic. He's still in great shape. He's not that hobbled, even though he had
sparingly
back problems and everything, but you know,
he's still throwing out first pitches today.
That's what I mean. No, he's still doing home run derbies and shit and hitting fucking balls 400 feet. So, you know, there's different ways to do it. And like I said, this guy, completely different thing. He's just stuffing it in, getting huge, destroying his joints, I'm sure, and everything else. And he starts doing contests and winning contests, bodybuilding contests. His father says, quote, "That was the beginning of the end. He was once a quiet, nice young man. Who would have thought it would have turned out like this?" Oh boy. So things are...
Here's the other thing, Pop,
bad.
Your boy hasn't earned a goddamn dollar yet either.
No,
right?
I don't know what I'm sure if you win a bodybuilding tournament, you probably win something. $100, a bunch of oil.
Gift card to GNC.
Shitloads of oil.
Yeah.
Here's some... You win a case of baby oil.
A bottle of Johnson & Johnson. Enjoy. Mm-hmm. You smell wonderful.
Maybe. I don't know what else.
You smell like a newborn.
Apparently, that's the, I don't know what you win.
What's the allure of that?
I don't know. It's got to be an ego.
Or gift cards to Golden Corral.
Makes you feel good. What's the allure of doing stand-up comedy? What's wrong with us?
You're not winning anything there either.
That's the thing. Stand-up comedy probably has a longer road without money than bodybuilding.
Probably.
Yeah.
It's so brutal.
It's brutal. Just we've done this before, but if you go to a comedy club, just your random comedy club, you go on a Friday night, some headliner that you may have heard of.
Lineup of three.
Yeah, lineup of three. That's the typical setup.
Right.
And the headliner is, you didn't be like, oh, that guy's coming to town. Oh, Bill Burr's coming to town. It wasn't anything like that. Just line up some lady or some guy that you saw. Maybe, wasn't they in that show?
Weren't they on that? I think they were like the backup guy.
Yeah,
like
I don't know.
They're
Whatever.
The neighbor on that.
We want to go out tonight. Either way, we're just going out. Let's have a laugh. It doesn't matter who they are. You watched a 2-minute clip of them on YouTube based on, that's pretty funny. Yeah, whatever. So you go. And that headliner's up, and there's two people before them. Right. There's the host, and there's the middle guy. And you watch these guys, and the host, a lot of times, depending on the comedy club, will be shit. Yeah. Most of the time will be shit. Sometimes they barely let them do any jokes anyway. Right. They're basically just coming out and kind of
telling you to give it up for the wait staff.
Give it up for the wait staff. Fill out your comment cards.
We've got a drink special.
They tell one joke, and they're like, all right, let's get this going.
Right.
They'll do that to these poor bastards all the time. And then you get the feature who comes out next.
And that guy's been a host 1,000,000 times.
A trillion times. Just so many that he hates it. It's the worst job ever. And he's like, every time the host introduces him, he's like, thank God I don't have to do that. But he goes out there, he's got a credit or two.
Yeah.
You'll hear the host will be like, this guy was on Conan.
Right.
This guy,
you're like, I've seen Conan.
He's got a thing on Amazon, and you're like, oh, wow, look at that. Oh, he's been on, this is a professional comedian.
Right.
And they'll come out, and he is a professional comedian, or she is a professional comedian. They're good. They have 25 to 30 minutes of solid jokes. You laugh the whole time.
Tied together. Oh my gosh, his closer talked about his
couple
first
big
joke.
Jokes, couple
that was great.
Couple applause breaks. A professional fucking comedian where you're like, wow, this person's here all the way from New York, and they've been on all these TV shows. That person. For doing that, for training for years and years of going to literally
15 goddamn years,
8 to 10 years of free shows, and then 5 years of fucking hosting for nothing and telling to people to fill out their comment cards, and then they get on TV and they do all this and they fly from fucking New York to come see you in Tulsa, and here he is. That dude's making $100 for that. $100.
That's real.
So yeah.
Everywhere. And you know what?
That's the standard.
That's the high end. Because some of these clubs,
there's some shit clubs out there.
$80.
You know who we're talking about. Fucking.
Ouch.
What's that one in San Diego? I'll call you motherfuckers out. Pay your comics more. I don't give a shit. What's the name of that fucking place?
I don't remember.
You've played it before.
I know, but I don't remember.
It's in the. Like,
is it the Comedy Palace?
No,
it's in a strip club.
No. It's got a weird name.
It's the Palace.
Is it the Palace? I don't want to besmirch the wrong people.
It's the Comedy Palace.
I thought it was the.
I think they paid me $65 for that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And you drove to California.
All the way there.
That's what I mean. For $65.
It's brutal.
Not even gas money.
No.
That's what comics
and then I drove back.
Yeah. That's what I mean. So basically, if you see a comic that's like blowing up right now and they have like a big special or they have like a big show or they have something like you think, oh man, they probably made $5 million this year.
Right.
That, if you equate that to the time they've put in and spread it over their entire career, that means their whole career they've made like 4 cents an hour because they made $5 million because they've worked so fucking much on that. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
And at least maybe there's a payoff. I don't know what the end game is in bodybuilding.
There can't be that, right?
Not that. You're not going to get a sitcom or you're not going to get like a big show or you're not going to get like some big thing that you can do on your own or some, you're not going to do that. You're not going to get movies. You're not going to get, unless
plus, you're like so good at bodybuilding that somebody sees you and is like, I need that guy in
a
movies.
movie.
I don't give a fuck what he sounds like.
Arnold. But how often does that happen?
Right.
You know what I mean? Arnold
but the
is
opportunities that he had to capitalize on one and go parlay into the next.
We're not all Arnold.
Parlaying is brutal.
We're not all Arnold.
No.
You're
not going to parlay whatever you've got into shit.
No, that's what I mean.
It doesn't happen.
And unlike comedy, once you have an audience and once you're funny and you're established and you have an audience, you can do it till you die.
Right.
You can drop. We know comics are fucking 70 that are still touring around. They still do it.
And they're so good.
And they're great. And they love it.
Nobody goes to see them because their audience is fucking dead.
And some of them do have audiences though, and they keep going around. You can do it forever though. Yeah. Whereas bodybuilding, there's a ceiling there. Right. You're not going to be 60 years old. I know there's senior bodybuilding, but they're not getting paid.
Who the hell's watching?
You're not making $100,000 to go, pose with a bunch of other grandfathers. That's not a thing that's going on. So
bringing the kids on a bringer show. Is that a bringer show?
It's a bringer show.
You gotta bring your family.
I got to bring 10 bodybuilding fans. I got to sell 10 tickets. That's another thing comics do is they do bringer shows in the beginning.
Work their asses off for these clubs.
It's a hustle for nothing to make no money.
Right, because the electricity's got to get paid for that mic.
That's what. Oh my god!
Fuck.
So everybody said though, once he started winning contests and he's getting bigger and bigger, he just wanted more steroids. More steroids. Hey, if I take this much and I get this big, maybe I'll take more and get even bigger. It was great. He was also started. He started selling steroids. Because he needed to finance this lifestyle.
Right.
It's expensive to work out 40 hours a week and eat the food you have to eat to do that too. In addition to the steroids, it costs money, so you need some sort of income source here.
The protein's not cheap.
No, I know.
When you look at foods,
like
the ones that have the high protein content, that's the expense.
Well, it's expensive to eat 8 chicken breasts a day. It's just expensive after a while. It adds up. It's just too much.
It could be $1.49 a pound.
Yeah, it's still
if you're eating 30 pounds of that
for breakfast. It's a lot. It adds up. So, and the competitions cost money. You have to travel to them. There's entry fees and shit like that. So it's not like they're getting put up with ticket sales.
No.
It's not a heaving crowd to go see bodybuilding, as Vince McMahon found out when he tried to start a bodybuilding company.
Really?
You didn't know about that?
No.
Did we ever talk about that? In 90...
Was he part of it?
91 or 90... No, he owned it. It was his idea.
Did he do it too?
No. He was already 40-something by then. But in 92, he did the WBC, the World Bodybuilding, whatever the fuck. And it was... or WBF, I'm sorry.
Gross.
And it was World Bodybuilding Federation.
Of course.
And he... WBC is boxing. And where he had bodybuilding tournaments on pay-per-view.
What?
Who the fuck is paying money to watch it?
How much is that? Was he trying to go at like $19.99?
It was like, because that's what he was into.
Yeah.
So he was like, everyone must love it.
Clearly.
Look at he's so vascular. As Bruce Pritchard always says, he said, look at the vascularity of it. Like, he's obsessed with men's bodies.
So gross.
So he had
like
this, like Jimmie. He's just obsessed with adult men's bodies, unlike Jimmie. So.
I like the 13-year-old one.
Yeah, the taught ones. So his friend Ammons said about his new steroid-selling competitive bodybuilding lifestyle, Bieber's lifestyle, he said, quote, "We kind of took different roads. I was working 50, 60 hours a week and trying to fit the gym in, where he would go to the gym in the morning and in the afternoon.
Yeah.
That was his whole life. And it shows in his personal life a little bit. By 1990, he starts to show a pattern of scaring the shit out of his girlfriends.
What?
2 different women by 1990 have sought restraining orders against him.
Okay.
Women he's been with, like his girlfriends. One, a woman named Virginia Boyes, and her 2 daughters lodged a complaint that he had beaten all of them.
Oh, my God.
The whole family.
It's a 24-year-old man.
24-year-old man.
Just beating the shit out of the whole family.
Jacked up, just beating up multiple women.
Girlfriends with their kids.
With
not
her
his
kid, not his kid. 2 daughters.
Right.
I'm going to beat this woman up bad enough, and then those 2 little girls could use it too.
Those defenseless girls.
Yeah, children.
I'm into it.
You know what? I'm going to whoop their asses too. So, it's...
What are you looking at?
Well, you little bastard.
Want it too?
You want some of this? What do you want? A little bit of the spice? Huh? You want some pepper? I'll give it to you, goddammit. So I don't know what would possess you to not only beat any woman, but then beat her children as well.
That
aren't even yours.
Right.
You shouldn't beat your children. Never mind anyone else's.
That's how not afraid of their dad he is.
Yeah, well,
what I mean?
He's a fucking monster.
But still,
he's dripping
at some
steroids.
point you got to be like, there's 2 girls there. Their dad is he's gonna be doubly pissed.
Yeah, until he sees me.
Right.
And then he's gonna go, oh God, did they deserve it? They deserved it, right?
Thank
Jesus
you.
Christ. Hold on, I'm going to go get my shotgun.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and this lawsuit, though, she also sued him. It was dropped after 12 days for some reason.
12 days.
12 days. Not sure why about that. And then another girlfriend named Michelle, who we'll talk about later, had another court order against him. That was a restraining order. Sure. And then there's another one here when he was in his early 20s, where he dated a girl named April Fadley, who he dated when she was 16, and he was in his 20s.
That's disgusting.
That is gross, all roided up, disgusting.
Oh, God.
Pig fucking climbing all over some fucking teenager.
That's horrific.
Climbing all over a sophomore. This is fucking disgusting. Or junior in this case, probably.
That's so terrible.
You want it to be worse?
Yeah.
She also said that he sexually assaulted her.
Oh, my God.
And on top of that, this is some weird Sally McNeil shit here. Yeah. Remember Sally McNeil? Yeah. That her husband used to beat her up because her shoulders weren't developed enough.
What did he? She's 16.
He used to punch and kick her and force her to run up and down the stairs carrying a rifle to keep fit. Like in the Marines. Like some sort of Marine punishment. Yeah. I feel like he's been punished a few times. Right. And he was like, you know what they'd make me do? So, to keep fit.
Wow.
16-year-old girl. First of all, 16-year-old girl shouldn't be worried about any of that shit.
Her fitness should be the last thing on her mind.
However she feels good should be whatever. Right. That psyche, there's enough shit to worry about when you're 16.
She's got school to worry about.
School, everything else. Things going on in your body and your hormones and everything. Every teenage kid is fucked up in the head like that.
And he's got her with a rifle.
And because she's not fit.
Right.
You need to be more fit.
Can you imagine?
I'm going to punch and kick you to run up and down the stairs with a rifle.
Can you imagine arming a child and making them run the stadiums at their school today?
Here's a rifle. Pow. Right. It's fucking insane. It's nuts. I
Can't
assume
do
it
that.
wasn't loaded, probably.
Right.
But
Even still.
either way.
You're arming a child.
And she's running. This is crazy, dude. So apparently she ended up getting a restraining order against him eventually. Also,
lucky she didn't get arrested.
Both of them. Yeah, she's a minor with a rifle and
On a school.
Wow.
That's crazy.
This is nuts. So yeah, he's got some problems. This is a little. It's showing his personality is quite aggressive. Let's just say. Now, July of 1992, he does something professionally big. This is the only stat I have on him. So this is, you want sports? Here it is. In July of 1992, he was crowned Southeastern USA men's light heavyweight bodybuilding champion.
Right.
That's all the sports.
He's got a gold man trophy in his house.
Yeah, he's got a muscly man trophy. It's like looks gold, but it's really plastic. He's got
creepy.
one of those in his house. A tall one, though.
Yeah.
It's taller than him.
Because he won.
He did it, man. He was the most oily. The most vascular and oily man here. Yay. So 1993 is the time where he's dating a woman named Michelle Stanforth. She'll later get a restraining order against him, of course, obviously. Yeah. One day in 1993, he showed up to her work and out of nowhere and threatened her, telling him that if telling Michelle that if Michelle ever left him, she would be sorry. At work in front of other people. Yeah, he just burst in.
Shift.
I was just at home thinking. I was doing a set of, I don't know what the fuck people do.
I'm in the middle of my cycle.
Doing a set right now, and I had this thought, and I was thinking, you might want to leave me someday. So I wanted to fucking dissuade you from that thought right now, even though I had it and not you.
Right.
I'm going to, showed up at her job all jacked up.
Wow.
He's probably all sweaty.
Yeah.
Imagine everybody at the job like, oh, that's your boy.
Hello.
He seems nice.
Right. A cut-up shirt.
He seems great.
Right.
A pair of Zubas on, flaring out 4 feet on each
Zebra
side.
striped.
Ridiculous. So she broke up with him after that and filed a restraining order against him, thankfully, here. And that's when police were also looking at all of these different women that he had restraining orders against him. The 16-year-old, apparently, after they broke up and she got a restraining order and all that was over, later on, he then sexually assaulted her. Like, after it was all over with.
Wow.
Like, I'm going to go get some of that back, I guess. I don't know what his fucking thought process was there, but...
Was she still 16?
No.
Okay.
No, it was like 3 years later.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so, it was all over with, the whole restraining order and everything.
Years
He's
later.
like, I have a thought here.
Oh, my God.
So, yeah, his steroid use becomes so just blown out of proportion that and selling of steroids to finance his lifestyle.
He wasn't arrested for that, was he?
What? The steroids?
Sexual assault of her.
No, he wasn't.
No, because she just saw him out of nowhere, and he does whatever he does to her.
Yeah.
And she is not going to report that because she is fucking horrified. Yeah. She can't believe she just saw him in the first place.
She wants to keep the storm at bay.
Absolutely.
And he's a crazy storm, and she knows it.
Obviously.
Yeah, and that's scary.
Oh, my God.
Would, be that scared of someone. But his steroid dealing and use becomes so out of hand that the Lee County Sheriff's Department starts keeping an eye on him. They know, and they believe he's involved in distribution of steroids and other drugs. So they're like, okay, let's talk about this guy, because it's not just steroids that these bodybuilders take too. It's the hardcore ones. There's a whole bunch of other just tertiary shit around it that is there's a Chris Adams, we talked about it a lot. The GHB is they take that for recovery. They take
and that's not good.
No, there's another thing.
And being in possession of that
is also very illegal.
It's horrifying.
And there's also like a heroin derivative that we'll talk about too. That's for recovery that they take. It's also highly illegal. So a lot of times people that sell steroids will sell all of the other shit too, and you can get one big package there. All of it's very illegal. That was what I'm getting at here. So one officer, Sergeant Dean Tabor, came in contact with Bieber here at one point, and he said, my impression of him was that he thought, I am better than you, you're not going to catch me. He was that type of person. He thought he was better than everyone else.
Of course.
That's the type of guy he is. Yeah. And you know what in his life would make him think otherwise? Everything's gone well. He does what he wants. He acts like an asshole. He punches a guy in the Marines. He just gets dishonorably discharged.
I'm so much better than the Marines. I can punch them, and they want nothing to do with me.
Who cares? I can just leave. These these women, am I in jail for doing all that shit to them? No, I can make a teenager run up and down the stairs forcefully while I punch and kick her because I don't think she's in shape enough. That's fine.
I can take whatever sexual pleasure from her I want.
Yeah, it's fine.
Nobody does shit.
I'm allowed.
Wow.
I'm that guy. So and I think the cop hit it right on the head. He becomes friends with the fellow weightlifter, a German-born guy named Marcus Muller. Or, I guess, Muller is how you'd say it here. Marcus Muller. Marcus with a K, by the way, because he's from Germany. Yeah. He's also selling steroids, and the department's also keeping an eye on him. This Marcus Miller was like he did like some semi-pro football, and he was in a couple of like half-assed direct-to-video B movies as like thug number 8. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like he was trying to become an actor because he was just a big jacked up German guy. So he's like, I'm going to be Dolph Lundgren or whatever the fuck. I don't know.
Whatever.
Somebody like that.
Guy that's jacked up that doesn't speak very well of English.
Yeah, I'm going to be him. I'm going to be Jean-Claude Van fucking dipshit. I'm going to be all these people here.
I'll be Sylvester Stallone. He's from America.
He still doesn't speak English.
Jean-Claude speaks better.
Oh, much better. Jean-Claude's English is phenomenal compared to Stallone.
It's incredible, yeah.
You ever hear Stallone like in an actual interview?
It's gross.
It's hilarious because no. In an interview, he enunciates. And it's funny as fuck.
He tries so hard.
He's like, let me tell you something.
Right.
Like, he's very like, but he really like, there's one thing that I need to tell. He's like, I don't really talk. I'm just acting when I put that accent on.
That's how like, good I am. We know better.
Listen, Chief. Yeah, we get it. So Gandolfini did that too, even though Gandolfini actually didn't have a heavy accent. But Gandolfini, he just looked like he should talk like Tony Soprano. Like, you're too fat and Italian to talk any other way. I'm sorry.
But him as a gay man in the Mexican,
that was good.
My favorite
he's a good actor.
He's so good at that.
Does great at it, but you're still going, come on. He's gonna whip like a prosciutto and mozzarella sandwich out of his pocket and start eating it at any point and go, "This is fucking delicious. I'm sorry, I can't put up this front anymore."
But him as a gay guy, you expect him to be like, "I do like your balls, but you know what other kind of balls I like? These are meatballs."
Hey, all right, let's eat them. So, Jesus Christ. So they start hanging out. Marcus and Bieber start hanging out. And her brother, Nancy, it's Marcus's brother, his brother, I should say, his sister, Nancy.
Right.
I reversed the genders both times.
Yes.
She said he was probably the coolest brother you could ever imagine. I could stay over at his place at night and watch scary movies. He was always funny and happy. I've never seen a sad side of him.
Marcus.
Yeah. Marcus is a different type of dude. Yeah. He's a happy-go-lucky guy.
Except kind of a thug.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's selling steroids. He's trying to finance his lifestyle because he needs to have that look to try to be an actor. Right. His whole life depends on him being all jacked up, as we've talked about. All of these bodybuilders do. But he was, the fact that he is German and from Germany gives him a distinct advantage in the steroid importation market in Europe because he knows people there. Yeah. So he's importing steroids from his native country and then all over Europe and doing shit like that, where kind of American people don't really have that access. Now, October of 1994, Marcus Muller and his girlfriend, who'll come up big time again here, Danielle LaBelle, were arrested on steroid charges. Both of them on distributing. Danielle was just as into steroids as he was and into fitness. She's a jacked up chick. She's like our, who was the one? Kelly Ryan, the fitness model who, she's like that with Craig Titus.
That's right.
So she's arrested. They end up pleading guilty for the steroid distribution and, getting some sort of reduced thing out of it. Thing is, David Bieber was also part of this whole steroid distribution operation.
He's not caught.
He's not caught though. No, they get arrested and they take the hit and they don't rat everybody out.
Because he's better than you.
He's better than you.
That's right.
Catch him.
You can't
catch him.
No.
Can't get him. He's got a friend, John Saladino, who's his roommate there. And John Saladino, who's David Bieber's roommate at the time, he says, quote, he would come down from Germany. That was like one of his main sources of getting it. That was the steroids. Yeah. He said that Bieber eventually, though, wanted to have more control over this business and because he was kind of working for Marcus because Marcus was the guy importing it. back to The Wire. It's kind of like on The Wire when Marlowe's going to get, he wants the contact of the Greek because he wants to get the big Coke import without having to deal with Proposition Joe. Sure. And he pushes and pushes and pushes, and eventually he does. You want to be in control of the goddamn thing. You don't want anybody else to control your supply. Then you're beholden to them.
It's like pimp and hookers. You don't want to have to give that man your money.
Exactly.
It's my hard work.
This is my ass. So, the Saladino said, quote, he'd got into a couple of arguments with Marcus Muller over the steroids. Mm-hmm. This is Bieber did. And the other thing that they were kind of feuding about was not only did David want to control Marcus's kind of steroid business, he also wanted Danielle, Marcus's girlfriend. He also really was longing for her, and
he wants to steal his supply and his cash.
He's like, I just want to take my whole thing. And Jimmie meant that in a way that he would say that, by the way, because someone's going to go, he's just calling women gash, and that's no, that's not what Jimmie's saying.
He means the actual gash. Yeah, that's all he wants because he's a piece of garbage.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Character. It's all in character. You fucking
animals,
people. There's some things. Okay, end of the show. I'll do it at the end of the show. So, stay tuned. So they end up starting a little affair up, Danielle and David.
Yeah.
So they start an alliterative affair, the two of them with their two names here, and after a little while, they. They're together, but they seem like they say that they're in love and shit, even though she's with Marcus. And Ammons, the friend from high school, he's still hanging out with Bieber at this point once in a while. He said, I could just tell her heart wasn't in the right place. Hear all these stories about how she was so in love with Marcus. And, and she says, Danielle, for her part, I was seeing both Marcus and David.
Oh, my God.
I loved Marcus, but David was fun to hang out with.
Yeah.
So.
He fucks better.
Great. That's what that means. Yeah. He's very confident, as we know.
Yeah. He's better than everybody else.
He's better than everybody else.
That's what it is.
My cock is better than others' cocks. That's how it works here.
Well, Marcus has an end game with his steroid empire.
Yeah. That's what ends up happening. So they're both with her, and so this is a couple of jacked up dudes fighting over a woman and business. No, not for a while here. They do. He does find out though. He finds out on February 3rd, 1995, because David and Danielle get married.
Oh, boy.
He finds out fast then.
Oh, my God.
Oh, boy. Hold on a minute here. Wait a second.
Could you come home? I can't. I'm at my husband's house.
I can't. I'm just about to walk down the aisle. Do you hear that? Do you hear that in the background?
My dad's about to give me away.
You hear the harps? They're playing harps now. I have to leave. I'm sorry. Come on.
I can't. Are you?
Dad, wait. I know you put a tuxedo on for this. Just wait 1 minute.
That's how he found out, because they got married.
We won't start till Grandma's here.
That is horrible.
That's terrible here. Awful stuff that they do.
It's not good for a business relationship or a friendship.
No, and it gets even weirder. I'm starting to think this Danielle might not know what she wants. She within 5 days later, she goes back to Marcus.
Oh my God!
5 days after the wedding,
married.
Yeah, I'm gonna marry this guy. I'm gonna go back to him 5 days later. So now she's married to the other.
It has been a crazy week, baby, but I am back home.
I know my last name's different. It's gotten crazy. Super weird,
it's
right?
Craziest week I've ever had.
Strange. I gotta go to the DMV and change that. But besides that.
Unreal.
My God. So, February of 1995 still. They got married on the 3rd. February 9th, 1995. Marcus Muller is home by himself, and there's a knock at the door. He goes to the door, and he's shot 3 times. 3 times right in his doorstep.
Dexter Manley.
Once in the head, twice in the body. Yeah. That's it. He said, he came out, he's like, fucking Manley again. Jesus, I told him I don't want those curtains. Dexter, oh shit. He was hoping it was Vince McMahon going, look at him. But it wasn't.
For the last time, no overalls.
No, I'm not wearing overalls, you pervert. I'm already oiled up. What do you want from me? No, he's shot once in the head, twice in the body, falls down on his doorstep and dies right there in his own doorway. Okay, unknown gunman here. So Danielle is the one who finds Marcus's body because, she lives there. And she immediately said, quote, David could have done this. Okay.
Yeah,
anybody could have done it, really. But
you didn't have to say that for us to lean on that as the first fucking suspect. So what's your name, miss?
So let me get this straight. Yeah. You married a psychopathic, steroid just stuffed bodybuilder with multiple female restraining orders against him like 5 days ago, and then went back to his drug rival's house after that. I don't know any motive here.
Right.
Hey, Bob, can you find a motive in this? I'm not sure.
This would be the worst police ever to sit there and go, this is a baffler.
It's a head scratcher. Yeah. It's a real whodunit.
I got nothing,
what.
Johnson.
It's a real whodunit. I don't know what the fuck to do here. This is it's like a full house of motives. Pick a motive, any motive. Here you go.
Shot.
Who
you're his
done
girlfriend, and
no
you're
robbery.
Married. Yeah,
that's weird.
Maybe we should ask your husband if he's got any ideas.
How long
we
you guys been married? 5 days.
Oh, you wouldn't have any idea.
Weird, right? So
he has no clue. Then he's not been around this long enough.
No, so Jesus Christ. So the detective in this is Detective Barry Futch, which is just a god awful poor name.
He's going to futch it all up.
Futch, Futch.
Yep.
He said, it was a little afternoon when I heard, probably noontime, we had a person shot. I approached the front door, and there laid this huge man. When I say huge, I'm talking about a man that was muscles. This guy was gigantic.
He was futching huge.
He was futching enormous. This guy was a futching monster. I swear to God, I'm happy he was dead, actually, because otherwise, I'm afraid he'd pin me down and futch me right up the ass. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, Bob, right? Look at him. He's got it in his eyes. I can see it.
This is futched up.
This is all futched up now. So he tried not to futch up the investigation as much as possible here. So the body was found by Danielle, like we said. She was the one who called 911. And the weird thing is, when she pulled up to the house to find the body, because she wasn't inside, she pulled up. David Bieber was the one that drove her there.
Oh,
drove her to her house.
Took her home.
She said. Futch here says, quote, he had brought Danielle LaBelle, his new wife, over because she had forgotten to get her purse from Marcus's house.
Yeah.
Futch said that that was They found Marcus in the doorway. They asked what was Bieber's attitude like when he talked to the detective, obviously, because he had to stay and wait for the detectives to get there. The detective said that he was, quote, just nonchalant, just like nothing was going on. That's his whole life. We've nailed this guy. Just like, I don't know, things are pretty good. It's weird that the breeze is only around me and in my hair. All the rest of you guys look hot and sweaty, but there's a breeze just blowing my stuff in a very windswept, attractive way, right? Right?
He's not interested in this at all, so it clearly wasn't him.
I mean, obviously,
he doesn't
give a shit.
This is crazy.
He doesn't know jack futching shit. He did seem like he was concealing something, the detective also says. Mm-hmm. He says that he was very suspicious of Bieber in this whole thing. He said, quote, the fucking captain, you can't get any more obvious than this shit. We said it. He had two reasons for knocking Marcus off. One was the steroid business, and two was Danielle. So he just decided to get rid of him. And then he would have the girl, and he would have the drugs. And I told him that day, quote, you're involved in this, and we're going to prove it.
I don't have the evidence right now.
We're going to prove it,
I'm going to do my best.
Listen here, mister. So he said,
I'm gonna get you.
He pushed his windswept hair out of his eyes and said, you go for it, pal. Don't futch it up, buddy. So, obviously Marcus had people that liked him. His sister Nancy said, quote, it was very important for me to let the police know that there's a family who cares, and it's important for me to for us to find out what happened. So the family's making sure that they don't just treat this like, drug dealer got killed, fuck him, roll him off to the side. She wants them to know that people give a shit about the guy here. They had one suspect, and that's David Bieber, who they're looking at. The detective said he became suspicious, obviously, about the wife and the whole thing. And when he found out they were selling steroids together, then he was like, oh, well, that's kind of a thing. Yeah. He said, a woman, that's something. But now when you add money into it, too, it's like, money and a woman. I mean, you'll futch and do anything for that. You know what I'm saying? He said, quote, "We found out that Marcus Muller dealt in steroids, and as a matter of fact, that he probably had thousands of dollars worth of steroids in the house, which were missing.
Yeah.
We figured David took them." He said, when Danielle called 911, she said on the call, quote, "I think Dave shot him." So there's a lot of evidence.
She's already turning on him,
pretty
too?
sure Dave shot. I mean, Marcus is dead at this point. Cover for Dave. Fuck it, you're married to him. Jesus Christ.
You can't get him back, Danielle.
That's what I mean. It's like, well, that's cross off the list, I guess. So a few weeks later, she ran into Bobby Ammons and said something too. Ammons said, quote, "I ran into Danielle and David shortly after Marcus was killed at a club. And this Danielle girl says, 'You're old friends with my husband Dave.' And I said, 'Yeah.' She goes, 'Did you know that he killed my ex-boyfriend?' She said this to me." That's what Ammons said. Like, that's how she's introducing him to people.
Yeah.
Like,
do you remember my boyfriend?
Yeah. Have you met my Aunt Kathy? Come here, please. This is my boyfriend, David. Have you met him? Did you know he killed my ex-boyfriend? It's wonderful.
It's a real sweetheart.
It's great. And he sells steroids. Wonderful. Oh, no. Many restraining orders. Yeah. Absolutely. Oh, that girl, he sexually assaulted her. I know she deserved it. No, that's not what happens there.
This is unbelievable.
Yeah. Did you know? So Ammons laughed it off. Like, yeah, okay. Haha, why would she say this in a club if that was true?
Psycho.
And Bieber had an alibi of the night of the murder. Really? Witnesses saw him at the club the night that Muller was killed and during the time that this was going on. He never left the club. He was there the whole night.
Really?
So they're like, well, how the fuck did he do it? That's how it's going on there. So, but I mean, it's 1995 as it goes on. They're very suspicious. Old Futchy Boy says, quote, "In the midst of this, there's another incident that happened in the city of Fort Myers. And that was where a guy walked up to a girl who was taking some trash out and shot at her 5 times.
Oh my God.
The girl ended up to be David Bieber's ex-girlfriend.
Oh, that's weird.
It's strange, right? Yeah, it was Michelle Stanforth, the one who... God. He showed up at her job.
Yeah.
Said, "You'll be sorry." That one. Yeah. Shot at 5 times while she was taking her garbage out. Not a scratch.
Oh, this lucky woman.
Fucking 5 shots, like Pulp Fiction style, like looking at herself like, none of those fucking hit me? Are you that terrible of a shot? Which makes me think that somebody with a sharpshooter ranking or sharpshooter qualification probably wouldn't miss somebody 5 times.
Unless it was a pistol. It depends on where it was from.
Yeah, I feel like.
And how jacked up from the Jimmie was.
That's also, who knows here, but who knows? But they find out that she had a stormy, because at first they were, they didn't say, "Do you know this Bieber guy?" They were just taking her thing, and she said, "Do you know anybody who could possibly?" And she said, "The only person who's ever threatened me is my ex-boyfriend, this guy." And they went, "That guy, holy shit!" Oh, blah 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 blah, and it all kind of went from there. So yeah, she had, when she on the restraining order she sought against him originally, she claimed that he attacked her and told her, quote, "You'll be sorry." So that's how that worked. Now, 1995, detectives get a tip from an informant, and we never find out who this informant is. This informant says that there's a guy named David Snipes, who's a 17-year-old kid who was involved in a murder-for-hire scheme that he knows of.
Brother.
Yes, Wesley's little brother. He's trying to get Wesley out of tax trouble by doing as many murder-for-hire schemes as he can.
Right.
He's out of passenger 57 money. We got to help him.
He's doing movies with Gary Busey.
Fucking help him.
Jesus Christ.
It's fucking not even in the theaters, man. Jesus.
You heard of this? Is bullshit skydiving?
It's $5 Walmart bin.
He's desperate.
So he's a 17-year-old kid. First of all, what was our rule? Never have a teenager in your hit squad.
Yeah,
number 1.
Never.
Ever. They are always the weak link. Guess who they find? 17-year-old David Snipes. Bring him in for questioning. And Futch says, quote, "In the midst of the conversation with David Snipes that night, he admitted to shooting the girl, and he told me that night, quote, 'I thought I'd killed her.'"
Oh, boy.
The Michelle Stanforth girl. I
thought I got her.
She's alive? Damn.
5 shots?
Thought I got her. Shit.
Missed her?
Well, I'm terrible.
Jesus.
Then, at that point, because they're grilling him for the Stanforth shooting. That's what they're interested in, the Michelle Stanforth thing. And then Futch says, "Teenager in your hit squad, everybody." Out of the blue, Futch says that out of nowhere, he just confessed to killing Marcus Muller as well. Futch says, quote, "He went into the whole details of how he drove, how he got to Marcus's front door, knocked on the door, Marcus came to the door, Marcus opened it, and he shot him."
Thank God, because I was stuck right there. I had no idea who did it.
Super weird. And he made sure he was dead and shot him again.
Wow.
So, yeah, he did it. Snipes admitted he was hired for $1,250 to kill Michelle Stanforth and $1,000 to kill Marcus Muller. $1,000 he's going to kill somebody for.
$2,250 to kill 2 people.
2 people. That's bonkers.
That is cheap.
That's dirt cheap.
Yeah.
That's dirt cheap. That's what, you know, you're going to get a bad job.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
You're going to get a life sentence.
A teenager who fucking tells on you as soon as the cops look at him wrong. That's what you're going to get for that money.
For $2,250?
Yeah. If you pay proper money, you're going to get proper results. That's the thing.
You think you can get 2 hits done for a tax return?
Get the fuck out of here.
No.
Not going to happen. No way. No way. This is not going to work. You can't even buy a used car for that, for Christ's sake. 2 dead people. So, he also...
What do you always say, James?
Which one?
If you can afford it, it's not real. You're going to get caught.
You're going to get caught.
It's
That's
either
what
a
it is.
cop or it's somebody that can't do it.
If you haven't known that person for 20 years and known them to do hits for hire successfully for 20 years, and then they quote you an exorbitant price, unless that's the case, it's all a setup, and you're going to get arrested. Or it's not a setup, and you're just hiring a moron to do something they're not capable of doing properly. Either one.
You get what you pay for.
If you're going to redo your kitchen, get a bunch of bids. If one of the bids is 1/8 of the price of the others, that guy probably sucks. He's probably not good at his job.
Or he's just going to take your money. You're never going to see
off.
cabinets or that guy.
Nothing.
Never.
He's not capable of doing that for that money. That's the point. That's what we have here.
Why.
A bad contractor. So,
if you can afford it, it's not right.
Not right. So Snipes also informs the cops.
It's my favorite thing ever.
It's fucking perfect. So they say, you shot Mueller and Stanforth. There's only one connector there, and that's Bieber.
Right.
Interesting. And then they said, well, how the hell did you get in touch with How you, 17 years old...
How does this line cross?
How does this line cross? And he said that he was hired by a guy named John Saladino to kill these people, who was David Bieber's roommate. And that's what they find out when they go talk to him. They say, you know a guy named David Bieber? Yeah, he's my roommate. They're like, okay, this is all falling.
Sleeps on the other side of the drywall.
Falling right into place.
Yeah.
Saladino admitted that Bieber hired him to kill Michelle Stanforth and Marcus Mueller. He also admitted that Bieber put a hit on the lead homicide detective of the Mueller case and the detective's 2 sons.
Oh my God!
The children of detectives.
Co-work.
Even the fucking mafia doesn't go after homicide detectives.
No.
They never. That's again.
It's
crossing the line. Right. It's crossing the fucking line for them. It's all in the game.
That'll get you caught,
and that'll get you caught. That'll get you the heat of the entire. Everybody will be on you at that point. And then when they find you, you might not make it to the police station.
Exactly.
So that's how that works. You don't. It's crazy. So this is 2 sons too. A police officer's children. This
is what steroids does to your head.
That's unheard of shit. That's fucking Scarface wouldn't even do that.
That's
remember? Even he couldn't. It's even that was beneath him.
Family.
Come on now, that's crazy. So they end up at this point. They have enough. Police obtain a warrant to obtain Bieber to bring him in.
They obtain this to obtain
him on first-degree murder charges. They go to pick him up, and he's not around.
No,
can't find him. He vanishes. Gone. Up in smoke.
That enormous man.
Enormous giant guy disappears.
Wow.
Disappears. Nationwide manhunt for him. Not just Florida, anything like that. It's
in the 90s.
In the 90s, this is going on. Absolutely. Futch says, quote, we didn't think we had enough evidence to arrest David Bieber. We did think we had probable cause to arrest Saladino. And then Saladino told us everything. And we went, oh, all right, never mind.
We don't need you anymore.
We'll arrest everybody. They went, when they got Saladino, they said, Futch said, so we went to the apartment and knocked on the door. And eventually John opened the door. John Saladino. And I said, hey, John, I need you to go downtown with me and we need to talk. And David was in the background going, you don't have to go, John. You don't have to go.
Oh, boy.
But he came with us. I started talking to him, and I told him what David Snipes had said. And then he was like, well, since I'm not taking this on my own, so I'll put it on him.
That guy's probably swimming right now anyway.
Fuck it, yeah. Saladino said, when he asked me to find someone to kill Marcus Mueller, I says, why do you want to do that? I love that. I says. And he's like, I have my reasons. David Bieber gave me, it was $1,000 and his address. Marcus Mueller lived in Hacienda Village in Bonita Springs. And I asked David Snipes, if he was willing to do it, and he said he would. Mm-hmm. So very, very simple here. So, enough obviously to arrest him.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah, so Futch says, quote, so I called him on his cell phone. I said, why don't you come on in and see me and talk to me? We need to straighten this up. He's talking about Bieber. And he goes, well, I tell you what, let me call my attorney and I'll get back to you. That's the last phrase I ever heard from David Bieber. David just disappeared. And he does. Months go by. Wow. His family and friends are put under constant surveillance to see if he shows up. I mean, his phone records they go over. They tried to monitor his travel. They go to everywhere he's ever been, every gym, every bar, everything. There's cops hanging out everywhere.
And they find nothing.
For years.
What?
Jimmy, years go by. He disappears for 8 years.
How do you get...
Well, I know where he is.
Yeah.
We know where he is.
Okay.
The cops don't, but me and you do right now,
do?
Jimmy. We do. They also, the one cop says, we obtained a Tennessee driver's license in his name, that he was there for a minute. They said that the investigator says he believes that Bieber only used his own name to mislead investigators to focus their search on Tennessee while he went somewhere else. He had a plan here because he wasn't in Tennessee. So they noticed that also they do get different tips about him, and his appearance is different a lot. They're figuring that he's changed his hair. He's kind of stopped being on steroids and working out all the time.
Really?
So now he's getting
fat.
He's like fat with different hair, so he looks totally different here. So they believe that he was probably off the steroids because he's on the run. He doesn't really have time to work out all that much.
Also, it's hard to find those when you go from town to town.
On the run. Right. Yeah, we show up in Gatlinburg, Tennessee going, well, where's the steroid dealer? I'm like, huh? What now?
You're from around here, are you, boy?
Y'all like hot chicken? What? So, he was going the complete opposite of all of this, though. He's not hiding under his own name, hanging out. What he ends up doing is, well, hold on one second. Let's talk about Snipes and these guys first here.
What happens to them?
Saladino is found guilty of second-degree murder. We'll talk about his sentence in a minute here. And David Snipes is convicted of first-degree murder.
There you go.
And we'll talk about that. Now, when they're arrested, like I said, they give it all up. When they go to Bieber's home in Florida, they also find a bunch of good evidence of steroid sales and all that sort of thing. The Lee County Sheriff here says, quote, it was a lover's triangle, but it was also about drug dealing and the money and the turf. No shit. So September 26th, 1996. Okay, what he does is in Atlanta, he goes around a cemetery and finds a child.
Yeah. Oh.
This child's headstone who died in 1975 at the age of 6, and he steals his identity.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
Genius, but horrible.
Yeah, it's from The Jackal. In The Jackal, they did that. It's a book about that.
But kids.
Yeah, he did it. Well, that's somebody who has no history.
Right.
They have no anything that you could look up.
Yeah.
So it works. It's a person that you can set. You can just take their date of birth. You look for someone who's around your age, and they take their date of birth. He found this kid was born in the same year he was, and he said, I'm that guy now.
75? He was born in 66.
Yeah, so he's
close by.
7 to 9.
7, 8 years.
Yeah.
You can pass for that.
Yeah. I'm 33. No, you're 35. No one's going to say that. Yeah, it's so, but you can pass for that, and you can just pretend you're that kid. I grew up in Atlanta. That's where I'm from. Whatever records he had growing up, that's you, and you plug it right in.
Wow.
So back then, you could do it everything computerized. Right. You could do that so fucking easily.
That's crazy.
He bought the secondary birth certificate from it, like a new copy, and got a passport made. And once you have a passport, you're that fucking
you can
person.
Go anywhere.
That is legal ID right there. Anybody that is accepted by anybody anywhere. Right. So that's it. You're that person officially now. It was that fucking easy to do it. All you had to do was find a name, get the birth certificate from the state, order it, and then go get a passport. Done.
Wow.
Crazy. Anybody could change their identity. That's why people used to fake their deaths all the time, because you could do it so fucking easily before everything here. So what he ends up doing is, and I'm talking September 26, 96, he's all over America's Most Wanted. Mugshot all over America's Most Wanted. Everywhere.
It doesn't look like that.
Well, that's the other thing. He's going by a different identity that they don't know. They don't even know he's going by this other identity.
Different name.
He's going by
Not
Nathan Wayne Coleman at this point.
That little guy's dead.
Different. Poor Nathan Wayne. He died. He died. Yeah, he was a child who died in 1975.
Oh, fuck. Oh, he was, okay. Died in 75.
Yeah. The kid died in 75. Okay. So the kid was born in 67 or 68. So same age. Yeah, same age. So what Bieber does is he takes his new look and his new name and his new credentials, and he goes to the UK. Okay. Goes to England. He says, fuck this, I'm getting out of here. He enters the UK on September 26, 1996 through the port of Ramsgate, Kent, using the false passport. They let him right in. He's given a 6-month visa. So he's there for a while. He's going to have to leave soon. He gets to 17 days left in his visa to where he's going to have to leave, and he is able to extend it because he gets married. By the way, he's already married.
That took him 5 months to get married.
Yeah, he's still married, by the way.
Well, yeah, but
bigamy is the least of his concerns.
A different guy's married.
That's true. Yeah,
Not Nathan Wayne.
That's true.
Nathan Wayne is single as fuck.
Nathan Wayne is out, big swinging dick out in the world, ready to futch everything that moves.
Futching all of England.
That's it. So yeah. So he meets Denise.
Took him 5 months. Those English chicks are into it.
5 months, not bad. This is like
that's what an American accent in the UK in the 90s will get you.
It's like the 90-day fiance. These people come over here and they're 3 months.
Yeah,
hooking up, and you're like, you're out of your fucking minds, people. What are you doing?
90 days to get married?
I don't understand, too, why they do all that. Why don't they just go to that person's country and get married, and then they can come here without the visa?
Legally.
Yeah, that's my person now. Here's my visa, and it works.
And I don't have to deal with any of this bullshit.
K1 bullshit
and all that. Have to be on TV.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Well, maybe that's why. They should pay for some of that.
There's the allure of that, yeah.
Pay for something. No, I don't know. So he's... Jesus Christ. So March
bad for him.
March 97, he marries Denise Horsley. Horsley.
Wow.
Horsley. Horsley.
Yep.
Horse with an L and a Y.
Did you say your name's Horsley? I'm into you, girl.
You sounding good. I'm Nathan Wayne.
You're sounding good.
Sounding good. I'm Nathan Wayne. So, they look, now in Florida, his name is all over all the computer systems, whereas if, and in 96, there's still computers, but you could do it still so much easier than now. This is pre 9/11, so everything isn't. There's no homeland pre 9/11, no homeland security. Everything interconnected. Now, shit's still spotty computer wise. So
they're not green screens, but they're not
exactly. So so it basically. If he showed up with his regular identification in the UK, they would have fucking picked him up and sent him back.
Interpol's arresting
done.
You.
Done. But instead...
Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah, exactly. So Denise is a divorced mother of 2 young children as well. 2 young sons. They get married before the visa expires, and she doesn't know he's still married in Florida, obviously.
She shouldn't even know his name.
That's what I'm saying. Apparently, she's very, very muscular as well.
Oh.
She's also super into working out, and everyone around calls them Mr. and Mrs. Hulk. Very creative.
So he's not laying very low.
No. He's just going under an assumed name.
Yeah.
I'm fucking Nathan now. I don't know what you're talking about. David who?
David
Shit.
what?
He's in another country.
Did you say Bieber?
Not gonna
Justin?
it's not going to run into Futch down at the Subway or anything. Like, I came to get a 6-inch turkey and ran into old Futchy over here. So, they're married. This marriage doesn't go very well for a long time here. He lives out of a suitcase the whole time they're married and never unpacks. Like he's like us when we're on the road for 2 days. Well, I'm in Indianapolis for a day. I'm just unzipping this bitch.
He is absolutely like Leonardo DiCaprio in Catch Me If You Can. He's got like a suitcase full of cash and ready to go.
That's exactly what he's got there. So, never unpacks. She said his behavior made her suspicious. This is interesting, suspicious. He insisted no photographs be taken at their wedding.
What?
Try that.
What are you, Kanye West?
How the fuck did you pull that off? Go tell a woman that, yes, I'll marry you. Yes, we'll have a big wedding. We'll have people. Oh, no, your mom can definitely come. Oh, your grandma's going to look beautiful in that shade of blue.
No photos.
No fucking pictures. She will stab you in the throat with the closest sharp object without even thinking about it. She'll, well, I'm sorry. You said no pictures.
Did you say no photos of my wedding day?
My brain, I don't know what happened. It just snapped.
Fucking mind, there will be photos.
Yeah. Also, in addition to no photos allowed at the wedding, which is the weirdest thing I've ever heard, he also kept a lot of his belongings in a locked case that he had.
Don't even look at my stuff.
Don't look at a suitcase and a locked case. Eventually, she pries it open.
Yeah,
she's just too curious.
Yeah,
and finds an ID card
with somebody else's name,
birth certificate,
and his face.
Several syringes and with brown shit in it. She believed to be something that you inject in. She wasn't a steroid user. She just liked to work out. Also, huge bunch of US dollars in there. Also, she's just like, okay,
weird.
It's a weird thing to have in here. She asked her brother to check out his name on the internet, and nothing came up because he's using Coleman. That's what they're looking up. She found all his documents for Coleman.
Got it.
So she's like, look it up. Maybe he's no history. No, I don't know. Other than dying in 1975 from childhood leukemia or something. I think So 1997 is sentencing for the two guys who are going to take the hit for this Mueller deal here. David Snipes, you, sir, may fuck off. He's sentenced to death.
Oh, my God.
Death. This is Florida, Chief.
Oh,
he's
Jesus.
sentenced to the electric chair at 17.
Holy shit.
So that's hard fucking core. Yeah, he gets the death penalty.
I mean,
for this.
I'm not opposed.
This is crazy. No, I don't know.
I'm not opposed. The kid agreed to murder two people for $22.50. I don't think we need that guy.
I don't know. 17 years old is young.
17 and walking up to a doorstep and shooting a guy in the face?
Yeah, it's just, there's a lot of 7.
We don't need that guy. That's a cold kid, man.
I don't know.
That's a cold motherfucker.
17 is not an adult at all.
No, it's true, but
when you were 17,
I would never walk.
I wouldn't do that either, but I would do a lot of shit I wouldn't do now. Is what I'm getting at.
That is fucking insane.
You don't know. I don't know what to say about that. That's just wild.
I don't know the circumstances of what he
the
needed that $22.50 for.
Who the fuck knows? I don't know. I have no idea.
$22.50, James.
That's what I mean.
Threw his whole life away.
How desperate is your life if you'll kill two people for $22.50? Yeah. So I get that in it, where it's like I don't like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know, and I don't know. I don't. I'm not.
Florida never gets it right.
That's the other thing. They don't really concentrate on the details much down there, so that bothers me a little bit. Now,
say what we want about Florida. They did get Bundy. Nobody else could do that.
That's true. That's true. Saladino is, like we said, convicted of second-degree murder, and he is, you, sir, may fuck off, gets 15 years.
It's pretty steep.
So, he's out by now, though. I mean, Christ, that's for murder for hire?
Yeah.
He facilitated a conspiracy to commit murder.
How do you give that to that guy but then kill the other guy?
He made a deal, I assume. He made a deal about, it's crazy.
That's too lenient and that might be too harsh?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Fuck it, life for both of them.
Yeah.
Toss them in the same cell together. I don't give a shit.
And give one maybe possibility of parole.
Something. So in 98, Bieber ends up in Yorkshire. Over there. Right. He's in Yorkshire, where he works. I'll give you what do you think he would do as a normal job?
Bricklayer.
Come on, bouncer.
Oh,
he's a fucking bouncer.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what he did?
He's a big, jacked up bouncer, yeah.
I assumed using his body.
Doing something. And he also needs to build up a shitload of firearms at this point, which is not easy to come by in England, to build up a shitload of illegal firearms. So what he did is he went down to the Spartan Body Works gym in Barnsley every other day, and he would exercise for 3 to 4 hours a day on the weight machines and all this type of shit. Him and all the other bouncers. A pack of bouncers going down there. Working out. One of the other doormen here, Christopher Motherby, he worked...
The last names of English people.
And he's a big jacked up. I'm Christopher Motherby. You're like, really?
You're a mother something.
He used to work out there. He was the one, he helped supply Bieber with vitamins and protein powders and shit like that. Also sold him a bulletproof vest for 100 pounds.
100 pounds?
100 pounds. Not
That's all
bad.
it takes.
That's a pretty cheap bulletproof vest. I guess Bieber was also a regular at the Rails gym in Leeds, where the manager said he used to go 3 times a week, paying £3 a session there, and said that he was basically that this guy, the rail guy, who the manager of the gym, said he was shocked when Bieber approached him and asked if he knew anyone who would sell him a gun.
Yeah,
he's like, that was a surprising thing just from some guy at the gym, but surprisingly enough, he had a connection.
That is a weird question, sir.
As a matter of fact,
I got a couple.
As a matter of fact, we both went there. But yeah, as a matter of fact, he did have a connection. And he said, you know what, fine, I'll introduce you to him. He'll be here in a couple minutes. You relax, lift some weights. So he's pumping.
Yeah.
He's like, you know what, I really got to get a good pump on. He's getting these real veins are popping. He's getting himself sweaty.
Sure.
And then all of a sudden, bursting through the door, it's Vince McMahon, CEO and whatever the fuck of World Wrestling Entertainment. Chairman
of the
there
board.
you go. And he says, how is it you've come to arrive here? You beautiful bastard. Look at you. Oh, my God. Look at him. Look at you. Want guns? You got him right there hanging off your shoulders, pal. I'll tell you what. Look at you.
It's a gun show in here.
There's a gun show in here. You're something special. The vascularity that you're showing me right now, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, you're already oily. Look at you. I'd tell you to take your shirt off, but it's already off. How many shirts do you own, pal? None. He owns no shirts. I knew it. I love it. Tell you what you're going to do for me. Put these overalls on. I want to see what you look like in these overalls.
You're from Fort Myers?
Oh, my God. He's perfect. He loves steroids. He's from Florida, and he looks amazing in overalls, and he doesn't even own a shirt. You're hired. Poof, in a poof of needles and 1099s. He's gone. And Bieber's like, shit, I'm interested.
Yeah.
He was interested.
Come back. I need
back.
a job.
Please. Please. Come back.
The hot hillbilly.
Yeah. Now, is it this time that his wife files for divorce from him? Not Danielle in America.
The first one.
No, not American
The English
Danielle.
girl.
English Denise.
The Horsley.
Horsley files for divorce, and they're only married for a year when she files, making it 2 years short of the period necessary to get full British citizenship.
Oh.
But long enough to secure him a registration card to work. So he gets long enough so he can work there, but not long enough to be like a full-fledged citizen. So that's how that works here. So he uses the card to continue to work as a doorman here, and also looking for new markets to traffic steroids, other drugs, and everything else.
It only takes 3 years of marriage in
3 years in full citizenship. No different here. I think
it's right away.
I think it's, well, here you get a green card you have to apply for, and then you can work and shit like that. And then you have to, once you have a green card, I think you can be.
You don't even have to take the test.
I think you have to still go through all the citizenship too.
Do you?
It's a real rigmarole to fucking be a citizen here, dude. It's a pain in the ass.
Really?
It's a huge pain in the ass.
I thought it was just like marry
It's kind of a pain in the ass a lot of places.
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
that's far too easy for people that have interest of doing other shit.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, if they're not up to anything else,
right?
What do you care?
Right. But I mean, to marry somebody just to get into that country is then you're all of a sudden danger.
I mean, it seems like you're
danger already. I guess you're in the country.
You're working hard.
Yeah. You're really putting in the effort.
If you lied to get what you wanted and succeeded, that's the American way, is it not? You belong here.
Yeah.
Sorry, but at that point, you're going to fit in just fucking fine, pal.
See you on voting day.
Enjoy. There you go. Yeah. See you in November, asshole. So, 1999, David Snipes, our 17-year-old death penalty person, has his sentence reduced to life in prison without parole because he was under 18. And so they do it from that. Some things to consider.
They didn't know?
The Supreme Court, there was a Supreme Court judgment in that time period, too. Right. Now, in 2000, by the time 2000 comes around.
We forgot to ID him. You guys are right.
You're right. Our bad. Jesus Christ. 17. Shit. Oh, Christ. I thought he was at least 22, 23. I don't know. I was about to strap him into a chair. I'm glad you told me. Christ almighty. We had that thing all fucking warmed up for him. So now in 2000 Bieber has a run-in with the police in Leeds with the British police, but it's on the other side of it. He reports a man for harassing him after a fight in the pub he was working in. So I guess the guy was coming back breaking his balls at the bouncer. So he called the police, and so that's the only police contact he really had so far. He called them. Yeah, he was the victim, apparently. They said he was well-spoken and, seemed like a fine guy,
British,
upstanding guy, fine. Not British. He's obviously not British, but
he's not even trying.
No, he's come here, governor. He tried to punch me in the face. They'd be like, come on, dude.
I will call the bobbies.
Yeah, they'd say no. I don't think so. So, his wife finally gets his American wife now, Danielle, Danielle LaBelle. Right. They rhyme. That's how I can remember that. Danielle, because 2 D names. Come on, dude. I'm David. I need a D. She finally gets a divorce from him, files in 2001, and gets a divorce decree in 2002. Okay. So finally, after she's murdered, after he murdered her husband and ran away to England for 5 years under an assumed name, she finally gets a divorce. Much easier to be a citizen than get a fucking divorce, it seems like. Maybe one should be easier than the other, right? Yeah. So, Bieber was doing security work at this point and doing all of that. One police officer said, and that's where he was earning his legitimate money. He's into bodybuilding. He was certainly working at his fitness. Gambling was a major part of his life. And we calculated that in the 3 years that we looked at him, he gambled around 300,000 pounds.
Wow.
It's about over $500,000.
How do you get that kind of money?
Steroids, selling drugs.
You don't do that on a normal job.
On a bouncer's salary, probably not. He's, working there. One guy who worked with him named Pierce Coyle, who's a very British name.
Coyle.
Oh, yeah, and Pear, Pear.
Oh.
Pierce.
Yeah.
Like that. Quote, he wanted to be a gangster. He just wanted to be a big shot. He wanted people to fear him. He wanted people to respect him. So, yeah, apparently so.
Samesies.
That's what he's looking for. Yeah, who doesn't want that? Just sounds great. Sounds awesome. So, December 26th, 2003, this is Boxing Day in the UK, where everyone in the UK and all of its colonies beat the living shit out of each other, but only with bare fists. Yeah. No kicking, no bottles.
It's a gentleman's sport.
It becomes
gentleman's day.
You can square beefs with anyone on this day.
Boxing purge.
You can say, well, Grandma, that birthday present you gave me last year was shit. Right. Put them up, and you can pop her right in the fucking nose as long as it's a fair fight. Yeah. You have to just warn someone by putting your fists up. Anything's legal at that point. It's crazy. You don't like it, stay in your house. I don't know what to tell you.
Your cat puked on my shoe.
That's it.
Boxing Day's coming up.
It's like Festivus over there. I got a lot of problems with you people. So,
She's going to be out on the corner with my fists up all day.
Who wants a piece of me?
Setting up
looking for it. Huh? You want an appointment at 1 or maybe 2 with his fists up. It's a fucking mess. So it's Boxing Day in the UK, the day after Christmas. Quiet. Neil Roper, who's a police officer over there, PC Neil Roper, as they call him over there. Right. He said, quote, Boxing Day is generally a quiet day. Looking for what we normally do, looking for what we normally look for, stolen cars, anybody that's doing something that draws us attention. Okay. Not a lot of calls pouring in, a lot of people chilling out. People are off. There's not a lot of action happening there.
The kids are around.
Exactly. This Roper, Neil Roper, he's got a partner named Ian Broadhurst, PC Ian Broadhurst, and, they're buddies, they're partners, like in a fucking buddy cop movie. Right. They hang out every day for 8 hours.
Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker.
You become close, except neither of them are Asian or black. The only difference.
They're
very British.
They're British black and a British Asian.
Yeah, that's exactly what they are. True. Roper says, quote, he was my mate, not just a policeman. He's a genuine fella that got on with everybody. Aww. So likes Broadhurst there, and they said that Roper there, you knocking the mics out,
smack the fuck out of it.
Jesus Christ, that was his head. Jimmie passed out into the mic. Plunk. All right, we're gonna do the rest of the show. Sans Jimmie, apparently.
Complete accident.
Maybe something crazy enough will happen to wake him up. So he said they were partners. They also had a really good ability to spot stolen cars. They said they were, for some reason, as partners, they were good at it. Like certain things you could tell. The way the car.
That one looks like it's not his.
This was stolen.
That's not his.
Yeah, certain things.
It's not your car.
I wonder what those things were. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, they turned at one point on this day. They said it was no different. They're just driving around. They turned into a small side street and saw a BMW that was parked at an odd angle. That's a lot of the things. If you're looking for stolen cars not being driven, not like, hey, that black guy's in a nice car.
Right.
Like we're talking about if they're parked on the street, certain things. If you see a nice car parked fucked up, you're like, well, why would someone park their nice expensive car like that? You know what I mean? That's things like that give you, that way you'll run the plate quick. Hey, it's stolen. So they see a BMW parked at an odd angle. Okay. So they go. Roper here says, quote, I just basically saw this black 3 Series BMW parked up on the causeway in a, how can I put it, a peculiar position. We went slowly past the passenger side of the vehicle. I looked and just saw this white man reading a racing post. So, they do, buzz-bys to see who's in the car. They approached the car and radioed it in just to see if it was stolen or not. And sure enough, they get back that it was stolen.
Yeah.
It was stolen, but they don't know that yet. While that's going on, they radio it in and they talk to the driver. The driver, Roper calls a very big man who is making them nervous.
Yeah.
The driver is David Bieber, jacked up on roids in the seat of a stolen car.
Reading about what to gamble on.
What to gamble on, exactly. So Roper says, quote, in the police car, there is a button that you press which gives you the facility, obviously, to record anything that's being said in the car. This is the first time I've ever done this. He turns it on. Mm-hmm. They take Bieber out of the car and they put him out of his car to the BMW. They put him in the back of the police car while they run the plates, basically. So they do it like that. And the car was parked outside of a betting shop, just was what they call it, like an OTB, basically. Yeah. And he's reading a racing form. Right. So yeah, gambler. And the plates don't match the car. So that's an issue. Problem. They run the VIN, it's stolen. Right. You're fucked now. So they said that, they thought he was, and it was in a keep clear zone as well. So he's
no parking.
Yeah, he's in a keep clear zone, parked at a weird angle, reading a racing form and eating a Galaxy chocolate bar
in a stolen vehicle, stolen car with stolen plates,
just hanging out. Fucking idiot, right? So the police officers here, Neil Roper and Ian Broadhurst, are the first 2 police officers, the one we're talking about, and basically here. Later on, James Banks will come as well. PC James Banks will come. But PC Roper and Broadhurst are the first 2 there. And this is all on tape. On tape, you can hear him saying that he's from Leeds, but he's born in Canada. He's telling them he's Canadian. And he also told the officers, quote, just to let you know, I did not steal that car. So that's what he's saying. So they said that Roper says that he was growing kind of a little just wary of the man, over this whole thing, doesn't trust him. And he's trying to figure out whether he should handcuff him and get back up or how they should play this.
Right.
With him.
We don't carry guns here.
He's a big guy, so we're going to have to hopefully talk him into this or get back up or, what do we think here? So they end up towing the BMW away, and then Officer James Banks arrives, like we've talked about. He gets there. He does call for backup. So let's get an extra guy in on this. Let's do this. No, none of them have guns on them. No 3 of these guys have guns. Now, Roper says, quote, I said to James, when I'm cuffing him, you can just watch me back.
Right.
So, very British.
Keep an eye on this.
Yeah, that's it. He said, as I've looked forward, I've just seen this gun coming up to my face, and what can I say from there? I've just shouted, he's got a gun.
Oh, boy.
Now, this is where it gets kind of fucking crazy here. He ends up... Basically, I have a transcript of the thing, and Roper says, do you want to put cuffs on him? Broadhurst said, up to you. Do you want to? And so Roper said, yeah, double safety, mate. And so they, then you just hear on the sound of a car door opening, and you hear a whistle, and you hear, stop, hold there, mate, just stop there. And Bieber says, right. And then Roper says, because we're transporting you, we're having to put handcuffs on you, all right? And Bieber says, no. And then he says, I got... and then you can't hear anything. And Roper says, do you say claustrophobic? And he said, yeah. And Roper said, well, I'm sorry, you can't sit behind us when we're, and then you hear the handcuff open. And Bieber says, mate, listen, don't. First of all, he's already adopted mate. He didn't say dude
he's
or man.
Committed.
Bro. Yeah. He said mate. And then you hear him say, listen, don't. And then Roper says he's got a gun. and then you hear a gunshot, a pause, and then 3 quick gunshots.
Oh, God, Jesus.
Screaming and yelling. And then you hear Broadhurst saying, no, don't, please, please, no, and then a 5th shot.
Wow.
Yeah. Roper was hit in the shoulder and stomach, but he made it to a building and radioed for help. One of the shots hit him in the radio, which saved him, which was up here.
Yeah, on the heart.
It saved him.
Yeah.
The radio saved him there. He said, quote, on the radio, quote, I've been shot twice. I don't know about Ian. He's down on the floor, about Broadhurst. Roper was hit twice. James Banks was hit in the radio.
Okay.
He didn't even
take one.
He didn't take one. He took one on the radio.
Lucky bastard.
Broadhurst, though, dies on the way to the hospital.
Oh, no.
This poor guy died. He absolutely shot him and then was 100% standing over him while this guy was begging for his life and fucking executed him. Shot him in the face. He's a fucking...
Wow.
As cold as anything anybody's ever done here.
And then shot 2 other cops.
And then was busting shots.
Disappeared.
Took off. Now,
holy shit, man!
The police are trying to figure out what the fuck happened. This is This is crazy.
Right.
I don't think we've had a cop killer on our show before. This is wild.
And he's on the loose.
In another country. The police are looking at what the fuck, how to match this up. They said the chief superintendent, Chris Gregg, he was the senior detective on call that day. He said the first 4 shots were fired in 3 seconds. So this happened very, very quickly. 1 has hit PC Broadhurst in the stomach. 2 have hit PC Ropers, who's running away. 1 of the bullets that was fired at Neil Roper actually went through his left arm and struck the door here, and the other one has gone through Banks's radio. He said that, but then there is a 5-second delay. So there's all those shots. Bang, bang, bang. He shoots all 3 cops in that quick
5 seconds.
Pop, 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 pop. Then you can hear. Then there's a 5-second delay, and you can hear the officer now saying, "Please don't shoot." It was as cold-blooded an execution as you can imagine. This was a dangerous criminal who was on the run. Yeah, I would say. Yeah. In the car, he leaves behind 2 newspapers, and in the patrol car, a half-eaten candy bar. Fingerprints on everything, obviously.
Yeah.
The prints don't have any immediate match.
No.
There's no match over there for the prints. He's not in the system over there. There's nothing. But they do find a videotape from a nearby shop showing a man buying all the items he has moments before the shooting.
Jesus.
So, like, that has to be the guy. He's eating he's eating buying a Galaxy bar in a racing form. I think that's probably our dude. So, more important though than the picture was they also had his voice from this.
Right.
From this tape. They had his voice. They brought in an audio expert, a guy named Dr. Peter French, to analyze it. They're really wanting to find out who did this.
Sure.
This is no fucking around. Cops get shot over here. People get shot over here all the time. It just happens. Over there, it's not that common for cops to get shot.
And it's also
a big deal.
Cops, granted, they're okay. They're people that are in charge of policing society, hence the name police. But over there, they are unarmed, and shooting a cop there is super egregious.
Because you're shooting an unarmed.
Right.
Yeah, they rarely shoot people.
Right.
Like here, there's a lot of questionable police shooting.
Sure.
That rarely happens over there because there's not a lot of shooting.
They've mitigated that.
Yeah, they've mitigated
by
that.
taking guns from them.
Yeah, so this is time where I'm sure they would have wanted to have one
That would
here.
be nice.
So Dr. French is called to analyze it, and he says, quote, he made a claim during the course of the arrest that he was in fact Canadian, and he says, this French guy says he's lying. He's not Canadian. I could hear it in his voice. He said he's not Canadian. He's actually American, probably from the South. Then
he's not Canadian. That guy's from Florida. Matter of fact, and listen, mate, I'll give you his address.
He says, I couldn't say exactly where in the southern states because it's quite widespread. You'd find that accent in Georgia, Alabama, and of course, Florida. So he gets it down to that.
He nails it.
Now the cops are like, okay, this guy is not who he says he is. He's not, we don't know if his name's right. He's definitely not Canadian like he says he is. The whole thing is we don't even know who the hell this guy is. He's just some American from the South. That could be anybody.
Happen to be any of those guys on the run?
Yeah. So anybody?
Yeah.
So police appeal to the public for any tips, anything they need to find him. They said, Greg, the head of detectives, he said, we received an anonymous phone call from a man who said said, I know an American guy. He has a gun and he has a black BMW. And he just gave us the name Nathan and a mobile phone number. Through that mobile phone number, we tracked that down to a man using the name Nathan Wayne Coleman. So they're working, man. This is good police work. We have a name and we know where he's been living, but who this person is, we don't know. They're like, we don't, it ain't him. We don't think. They don't think that's a real name.
Right.
They don't know who they're dealing with.
Unbelievable work.
It's really good. So this is within days of of Broadhurst murder. They knew he's an American. They knew his name's Nathan Wade Coleman. They had his telephone number. They were tracking shit around, but they don't know, they don't know he's David Bieber and he's wanted in Florida for murder as well. They don't know anything about that. He keeps a low profile and keeps everything like that. What they do find, though, is the Leeds harassment complaint, the one that he called on the guy at the pub. Right. They find that, and that helps them narrow some shit down to a little bit.
We know where he works.
We know where he works. Okay, now they can narrow it down to there. People, because there's a lot of 3,000 callers responded, so you're gonna have to sift through a lot of garbage, and that knowing facts like that help a little bit. And they said one of the 3,000 callers was responded to a police description, gave 2 phone numbers, and they found they checked out a West Yorkshire database against a number given by another individual, against the individual who made the harassment complaint, and figured out it was the same person, identified him through closed circuit TV shit and everything. Now, while they're looking for him, they were playing the voice, they're playing the video, they're trying to see if anybody knows
Come on,
him.
Horsley.
Horsley steps up and says she recognized his voice.
I bet on that horse.
Yeah, they put her and her husband into a safe house. At this point, she's married, so they put her in like witness protection over that because he's on the loose and a psychopath. So the hunt led to a place in Leeds where they bursted into a place where they think he might have been, where he was living. They found a bullet making press and hundreds and hundreds of rounds of homemade ammunition in there.
Because you can't buy it in that country. You got to make your own.
Yeah, you can't go to the sporting goods store and buy a fucking caseload of them like here. So lots and lots of them. Also, a large quantity of Nubian, which is an opiate, which allows you to overtrain because it kills your pain. It's one of those. It's one of the things in that estuary of steroids. Yeah, it's a heroin thing, which they found there as well. So it's big in the bodybuilding world, basically. Also, they found that he spent a lot of time. They're trying to track him. He spends a lot of time traveling around West Yorkshire at this point. He withdraws more than $2,900 from his bank accounts all around, 2,900 pounds, I should say. And finally, a taxi takes him to the Royal Hotel in Dunstan Gateshead at 3 p.m. on December 30th. Okay, so this is just 4 days later. And there, we'll find out why he's there. We're pretty sure he's there to kill somebody. He's there to carry out a murder. Okay. We pretty much are pretty positive of it. Okay. So there's a bunch of false sightings of him in this time period. There was actually a false alarm where a store in York was closed for several hours while armed officers surrounded the place, and it turns out it wasn't him. It's the wrong fucking guy.
It's locked in somebody?
A shitload of people. It was like a SWAT team situation.
Kind of specific guys in there buying shoes.
Yeah, huh? Sorry, I just have bitch tits, and you think I used to work out, and now I stopped, and my tits fell over. Man, bitch
and
tits.
I drool like this and look like I'm on heroin.
So finally, though, a taxi they found dropped him off at a $29.50 pound a night hotel, which is a shit hotel. It sounds like
29 pounds
50
and half.
So yeah, we're talking. No, it's probably like a $50 a night hotel.
That's what I'm saying. 29 and a half pounds.
Yeah, 29. Yeah, 29 pounds 50. That's how they say it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. Sorry. So this is 90 miles away from where he was in Gateshead. He when they end up finding him, he's naked and asleep. We'll talk about that.
Sounds great.
He walked in very funny glasses and a hat. like literally like this is my disguise outfit, and to the registry, and he signed in as Harris, 2 Law Street in Knott's was his sign-in thing, and they said he spoke very little before he just went up to his room. False name, false address. They said odd behavior and strange appearance. He had his hair dyed orange as well, and the glasses were clearly not his glasses. They didn't fit him, and he's wearing a wool black hat that's all weird too over his orange hair.
Yeah, no, I'm from Ireland, you see.
Yeah, so they're all like, who the fuck is this guy?
I'm a leprechaun.
Why does he look like that guy in the Mexican soap opera with all the freckles? What's going on? So this is Vicky Brown, the receptionist. She, after he left, was like kind of uneasy at the whole thing. Yeah. So she ended up having a newspaper near her and found a newspaper photograph of a man they were seeking for the lead shooting and went, oh my God, they look similar. She's the only one on duty. She described him as, quote, very big, very tall. He's 5'10". But when someone's big, they seem taller. Very big, very tall, and he looked quite broad, and he was wearing this black woolly hat pulled right down over his ears and a big pair of old-fashioned glasses. He got a room that overlooked the main street. He wanted a room that saw outside.
Okay.
So you could see who's coming.
Keep an idea of what's coming down the street.
Yeah, she said that she, gave up on it, but then she couldn't stop thinking about it. So then she had remembered hearing about the manhunt, and she looked, and she said, it wasn't until I looked at the photograph and I seen this picture of what this guy might look like. So I sat and drew a pair of glasses on this picture in the paper, and that's when I thought, yeah, could be.
Painted some orange hair on it.
She said she matted the top and bottom to just show his face because the hair thing and the hat and everything, and then drew glasses on him. She went, yeah, that's the guy.
That looks about right.
That's going above and beyond for a hotel receptionist, I would say. So. I'm like, I don't fucking care. It might be him. It's not my problem, though. I don't know. They'll find him, I guess.
Do you want more towels?
Yeah, anything. So she said that. She said she placed a beer mat across the forehead of the image and drew on a pair of glasses here, and then told her boss about the suspicions. He called the police. They came in with now they have guns. Yeah. Lots of them.
Yeah.
Huge, force of people come in. They put marksmen up on the roof. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're not fucking around with this guy. This guy is happy to shoot cops, and they're not going to go down, against him, I don't think, here. They tell him to come out. He's asleep and naked. They say, put your underwear on and come out, literally. And then there's a 7-minute standoff, which he could be doing anything.
That is tense.
That's tense, man.
He could be making bullets.
That's what I mean. Everything's he has basically unlimited bullets. Yeah. He's happy to use them. So police are very cautious. They said, quote, when he first came to the door, we didn't actually see him. The door opened about an inch and a half, and then slammed quickly shut after that. So they couldn't even get like a foot in there or anything. 7 minutes of these tense options. The detective Greg there said he couldn't go out of the window. He had to go out of the door. And I think he was weighing up his chances of surviving. And I think he realized that if he was going into a shootout here, he would end up being killed himself. You're not going to outshoot 20 cops surrounding you.
Win. Sharpshooters
on the roof. Right. You're going to go down here.
You've killed a cop, dude.
Yeah, they're after you. You're lucky they didn't shoot you and go, I thought I saw a gun in his hand. Because sometimes that happens. It's been known to happen before. So
Nathan, that you was shooting through the door.
Yeah, we
don't even need to know.
There's
if
a window.
Yeah.
He opened the door and gave up without a fight, though. He ended up finally doing it. The officer said after that, the door fully opened and the subject stood in the doorway, fully dressed, and the most distinctive part was his hair. It is orange as shit. He looks like the nut in Colorado. That fucking shooter.
Really?
That's what he looks like. Yeah.
Trying to be a Joker.
Except it's like matted from the hair being pushed down on him.
Hilarious.
So the hat being pushed down on him. They said, it was like an orangey, weird blonde.
How do you, you're trying
terrible.
To blend in and you're standing out more than anything.
It looks like a nut. Yeah. Well, it doesn't say my hair's orange.
You may as well walk around with your dick out.
Yeah.
Doesn't say I'm sane.
Greg said after that, quote, but there was the most cruel irony in his surrender. He said to the officer, quote, you wouldn't shoot an unarmed man, would you?
Fuck you.
What a dick. This guy's a real dick.
Did he giggle?
Probably. But they just took him in, and he says, quote, now considering what this character had done to an unarmed police officer, David Bieber using those words, I think he knew exactly what he was doing at that point. Yeah. I think so too. They all knew it, so he was daring him to do it. They end up finding beneath his mattress of the single bed, they find the murder weapon that he killed the cop with. Gun is fully loaded, cocked, ready to fucking rock and roll with his DNA on the trigger and prints on the gun. 9mm pistol, 14 rounds in the clip and one in the chamber, ready to fucking go. Also had 205 homemade rounds in the room with him. So he could have mounted quite the sustained attack if he wanted to. Also, they removed 6,006 pounds and 14 pence, whatever the fuck.
That'll last you forever in that hotel.
Jesus, yeah, you live there forever. And cash and a birth certificate with Nathan Coleman as his name. Also a storage facility operator here, a guy named David Costello, he heard the name and said, so I instantly got on my computer system here and just made sure Nathan Coleman was one of the people that stored here, and it just stood out. So found, hey, look at that, this guy rents here. Right. Greg, the detective guy again, said, quote, there were hundreds and hundreds of rounds of homemade ammunition, 9mm bullets, and there were a bullet reloading machine there.
He's got it there.
Yeah.
That's his press.
Got it there. So there was a bullet press to make all the bullets. There were gunpowder, the primers, the cartridge cases, the bullet heads. It was all there.
All there.
Holy shit. So the surveillance tape showed that, he just come there. They said, quote, in the surveillance tape, the surveillance tape showed this character going in with one bag and coming out with another, and we thought that rucksack was probably packed with ammunition. We are very, very concerned now that there's a man on the run. He's dangerous. He's killed a cop. He shot another. He's probably realizing he's going to be facing the rest of his life in jail. That's from when they raided his apartment.
So he went to his storage unit
to get,
and got a bunch of ammo.
Yeah, got a bunch of ammo to go there. They said, though, no fingerprint match their database, so they were just at a loss, and they said, well, we think he's American, let's just give they don't have anything on this Nathan Wayne Coleman, but maybe they have something on this fingerprint. Gave the fingerprint to the FBI. Oh shit, does that ring some bells? They said they got a hit. He remembers that it did not put their minds at ease, is what the detective Greg said, because they found out they had a really bad guy here. Those fingerprints were identified in the States as those of David Bieber. He says that the Americans told him a great deal about Bieber. He said, quote, the fact that he was wanted in the States for conspiracy to murder and that they've seen nothing of him since 1996. Learning about David Bieber's background answered the key question for us, which was, why had this person reacted so violently in the way that they did?
Yes.
Absolutely. They found tons of shit in his home there, like we said. His story is still different, though. They talked to him.
What's he have to say?
He's got a story.
Oh, boy.
First, he says, I don't know what you're talking about, mistaken identity. Not that guy. Not me. Wasn't me.
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him. I don't know anything. Then he says, okay. Tell you what. I know some stuff.
I know that guy.
I know what happened. The shootings, all of them, the ones here, the ones in Florida, everything, they were all carried out by a friend of mine named Mr. X. Now, Mr. X, he would not name him. He said, I know his name, but I'm going to call him Mr. X.
Listen, he's dangerous. He has pets. One's name is Wolverine.
Big time.
Yeah, Professor X is a bad man.
I'm very frightened of him. He likes to go by Mr. here, though. It's a little, just to go under the radar.
In the UK, Mr. In America, Professor.
There you go.
He's got a friend named Beast.
Yeah.
Big blue guy.
What do you want? Yeah, you're going to fuck with that? Fuck with a big blue guy? They also said that he said that the shootings were carried out by him, and the description of him changes over the course of the conversation from Greek to Asian to Turkish, which are very different. You could confuse Greek and Turkish, but you're not confusing Asian with Greek or Turkish. No. So that's interesting here. Also,
he's a chameleon.
Yeah, he's like a chameleon. He said. One of the few differences between him and Mr. X, because they're both pretty same size, and it's weird. You could mistake us. That's the thing. The only difference is that I'm pale as a ghost, and my friend he's all tanned up.
Yeah,
that's Mr. X,
and in a wheelchair.
He's a tan guy. Yeah, you know how that is. So now in Florida, they get the news that they finally found David Bieber, which is crazy. The Lieutenant Ferrante, who's been chasing him for 8 years. Christ almighty.
So he's saying Bieber is Mr. X.
Yeah. He said, quote, I was called and told a police officer lost his life because of David Bieber. I remember hanging up the phone, closing my door, and I actually broke down and cried. So, yeah, he feels like he blew it, and it cost a cop his life. Now, May 2004, there's sources saying that he may have carried out different gang killings in the UK and was possibly even in different countries in Europe. He's been around. They said, quote, we now know this man to be David Francis Bieber. This is the West Yorkshire Assistant Chief Constable. He says, but to a certain extent that this is all we know about him. We know that he is a cold-blooded murderer, but as far as who he really is, that remains a mystery. Now, first he says, yes, I did it, but I don't know what I'm doing. I'm all fucked up on steroids. Yeah. Then he says, what are you talking about? I didn't say that. It must have been the steroids. So, yeah, he said it's Mr. X that did it. Mr. X did all this type of shit. They go to court and trial. He gets on the stand and says, it's Mr. X. He's an Asian Turkish Greek. Looks just like me, but tan.
He's a chameleon.
It's his bizarro, David Bieber. That's all it is. He's just, I wear a white shirt, he wears a black shirt. I wear a red shirt, he wears a blue shirt. We just go, whatever it is, he does the opposite. It's fine. So
that's why I dyed my hair orange, so nobody would confuse us.
Yeah, you know, I always said, I don't like orange. I said, I do, mate. I'll do it myself. So they said when he's cross-examined, he has a confidence bordering on arrogance while he's being cross-examined. It's a 2-week murder trial in Newcastle, and in the end he says that he testifies in his own defense. He said, I was on the scene, I was at the scene when Ian Broadhurst was murdered, but he said the actual shooter was a friend of his from Florida, Mr. X. And the prosecutors got to cross-examine him and said, are you fucking kidding me?
This is the worst story ever.
He said he never was in the he denied ever being in the patrol car, but the jurors said, quote, we tracked down the gambling companies that he'd been using. I'm sorry, the prosecutor said this, and telephone betting, and the gambling companies tape record the calls because you're betting money. Right. So we managed to gather quite a lot of recordings of the person who was using the name Nathan Wayne Coleman. And they said that they compared all of those to the person in the car's voice, and the voice expert said they match. Mm-hmm. French said, quote, this is one of the most clear-cut cases in which I've ever acted. This is the voice guy. He said, short of a fingerprint, it doesn't get much better. But there was also the fingerprint on the candy wrapper in the back seat that also matched him. So you have every form of identification. Yeah, it gets much better. Other than like a 12-point eyeball coronary, So, fuck, man.
Apart from a DNA match, this is fucking it.
Yeah, that's the thing. During the testimony, he makes a very startling admission.
Oh, boy.
He says that why was he sitting in that BMW 12 months ago? He said, I wasn't there to bet. He said, quote, someone had pissed my friend off and disrespected him. He wanted to sort them out. He was there to kill somebody.
What?
He was there to wait for somebody to come out and kill. He was there to do a hit.
He was there to kill, so just killed a cop instead.
He was all fucking, he ended up killing cops. Yeah, because they would have found the gun on him, and that's a big deal in England, and they would have found out who he was maybe, and the whole thing would have fell apart. So he tried to instead
shoot his way out.
Start bucking shots at everything.
Wow.
So the jury, when they finally get it after 2 weeks, they find him in 3 hours, they find him guilty as balls. Yeah. Which, I don't know if that's a British thing, it was specifically guilty as balls, Your Honor, your magistrate, whatever the fuck here.
Your Majesty.
Your Majesty. So, is a magistrate.
Yeah.
So, the Mr. Justice Moses said of the killing here, oh, this is good stuff. These British judges, this is where the "you sir may fuck off" came from, because they give you the business.
They're not playing.
And it sounds really proper. Like, it sounds like, whoa, he broke me down hard. It's good. He says, quote, you have shown no remorse for or even understanding of the brutality of this murder. On the contrary, you have maintained a cool and detached reaction as you attempted to explain the overwhelming evidence against you. He also talked about how the cop was defenseless, called that an aggravating feature to him. Then he says, quote, early release provisions shall not apply, and you must spend the rest of your life in prison, just justice has been done. You, sir, may fuck off. 3 life sentences.
3 of them.
3, 1 for each cop he shot at.
Wow.
It's 2 attempted murders and a murder, all on police officers.
A wig so powdered
3.
as he said it, powder puffed off.
Dude, when he hit that gavel, it poof, he looked like a mushroom cloud coming off of his head here. Yes, so he's found guilty. 3 life sentences there. He plans to appeal. His dad said, quote, "We believe in his innocence."
I don't know how. Dad, stop it.
We believe in his innocence.
Oh, my God.
The detective Greg said, quote, "This is a whole life sentence, which is very unusual for this country. Very few and far between a sentence of whole life. So he will never be granted parole." The Broadhurst family, because he's married, his kids, Ian Broadhurst, his wife here said, quote, his mother said, quote, "I'm old enough to be able to remember the time when if the news told us that someone had been shot in this country, you'd stopped what you were doing and said, 'Shot, not here.' That happens maybe in America, but not here." We don't stop anymore.
Goddamn America.
Fuck America. So Ferrante, back in Florida, he said the case will always hurt and haunt him. He said, quote, "Every time I think of the officer in the United Kingdom, this Ian Broadhurst, it will always hurt me. It will always bother me." He says he didn't even get the satisfaction of making the arrest. He said, but that's the selfish part of fugitive work. The real part of fugitive work is the bad guys in jail. Yeah, but you want to get him.
Yeah.
You want to get him.
And you want to catch him before he hurts anybody else.
Yeah, especially another cop if you're a cop. So, the assistant state attorney of Florida, Scott H. Cupp, he said that if he does ever get out, quote, "While I don't think it will be necessarily a death penalty case that we would pursue, we'd still be going for premeditated murder and conspiracy to commit murder, which are obviously serious crimes." So if the UK ever does release him, he'll be extradited to Florida to face first-degree premeditated murder charges, which they don't take kindly to in Florida. This is crazy. The reactions here are fucking wild. His friends are all saying, "What happened today? What the fuck? What's going on?" One of his friends said, quote, "Some people are saying, was it the steroids? Could that have affected his mind?" Another one of his high school classmates said, "We just can't believe it. A classmate of ours is a murderer." And a close friend of Denise, that's Horsley, British wife, said, quote, said that Denise told her, quote, "I cannot believe I was married to this monster. Guilt will stay with me forever. He used me to stay in the UK." So I would say so. Now he goes to prison and he is held in maximum security conditions, but launches a string of legal challenges to try to get better conditions. This is all at public expense too. All these legal challenges here. One judge rejects his whole case, and then it gets worse for him there. As we'll talk about. 2005, Danielle. Remember Danielle LaBelle? In the middle of all this? By 2005, this is like 10 years later, she is now living in a mansion with her property developer husband.
What?
Yeah, she's got rich.
Crushing it.
She has no bodybuilding. She's all slimmed out.
Done. Trophy wife.
That's it. They asked her about Bieber, and she said, quote, "That was all 10 years ago, and it's behind me now." That's it. They said that, and then Michelle, the other one, says she's lived in fear of Bieber, and they said, "How do you feel about his jailing?" And she said, "I have no comment other than good." That's all you need to say. Good for you, Michelle. Don't worry about it. Now, 2007, British officials and prison officials foil an escape attempt by David.
Get the fuck out.
October, dude, it gets crazier. He planned to escape by helicopter with an arsenal of weapons. That's his plan, Ben Kramer style.
Yeah.
He and 2 other inmates plan to take hostages with a gun smuggled into the jail. They claim the plot was foiled after alert staff put together snippets of information and worked out how they were planning to escape. They planned for a guest at a forthcoming prison wedding to smuggle the gun in, which they would then use to negotiate their release out and get helicopters and shit.
Wow.
That's
how are you going to do that?
That's what I mean.
Stop it.
That's untenable. That's a nice fantasy and all.
Sounds awesome.
Come on. Well,
never going to happen.
Alcatraz, when we went, go to Alcatraz, you go, how are you going to do that?
Right.
Wow, that takes, well, there's a way, I guess. I don't know. Who knows? So he wants better accommodations in prison.
Swim doesn't seem that far, though.
It doesn't, but it's cold. It's very cold.
San Francisco
and
water.
I'm not swimming there.
No.
So, he's known as an exceptional high risk, category A exceptional risk prisoner, which restricts his movements in the prison as well. He says it breaches his human rights. God damn it.
Okay.
He was granted for his challenges up to $12,000 in legal aid to do this. Wow. Now, Broadhurst's mother said, quote, "I'm very disappointed. I feel cheated and let down on behalf of my family. He chose to do what he did. This is the consequences, and I don't think he has any rights, and this is letting us down if he's allowed these rights. He has no idea about our pain. We live that. We can never go back to the life we've had." Your life, this is hard. No one doesn't feel bad for them. They're fucking, that's a horrible thing. I just went to work and, get shot for it. And he's going to try to be Mr. fucking sympathy. Oh, I don't against my human rights because I don't like this room. It's not big enough. I mean, my heart is breaking. I feel bad for you. I feel so bad, but not nearly as bad as I feel.
For who? For
David Bieber, managing director, private wealth investor at Morgan Stanley Private Wealth Management. Oh yeah, New York City. David Bieber, director at Citigroup in London. In London, mind you. Wow, he went to Oxford. Wow. This guy did everything right. This dude comes along, fucks it all up
Ruins
for him.
Everything.
David Bieber, video production intern. I only put this because he's at Marist College in the Department of Athletics, and that's up in Poughkeepsie, and that's where I'm from. So good for you, Marist College. There you go. He's doing fine. David Bieber, director of Western Canada Council of Public Affairs in Vancouver. And finally, David Bieber, veterinarian from Hollywood, Florida. So this poor bastard. Don't take your dog to him.
Right.
I swear I won't shoot it.
What about, did you get anybody?
I won't hire a nurse to shoot it, I promise.
Did you look up anybody with Coleman's name?
Jesus Christ, man. That's so funny. So, 2008 here, is his appeal. And, in this appeal, he appeals to get rid of his life sentence. And, he ends up getting it reduced from life to 37 years.
What? Right?
No, 37 years total. His legal team used the Human Rights Act to claim that leaving him to die behind bars was cruel because they don't have the death penalty, so they basically equated it to the death penalty, saying you're just not going to kill him, you're just going to leave him to rot, which is the same thing except crueler. Which
is it?
I mean,
he shot a dude in the face.
Logically, yes, but I mean, obviously the law has nothing to do with fucking logic, or else it would be not.
Can we call the Queen and see what she thinks?
Yeah, I don't care what she thinks.
I mean, she's in charge. She should be the one that gets to say it.
She doesn't.
Off with his head. That's what she should say.
She doesn't even know what fucking hat she has on. She's 112 years old. So
did I lose my head?
Oh, so Chris Gregg here, he's the detective who was hunting for Bieber in England. He said that he's, quote, "He is the most manipulative and dangerous criminal I've ever experienced. Given half a chance, he would take any opportunity to escape, and I dare say this is what this legal challenge is about. He would kill or harm for his own purposes, and the prison service will recognize that danger. He must never be downgraded." And the National Victims Association representative said, quote, "This is the kind of mind-numbing madness that makes decent law-abiding citizens despair for a criminal justice system." And so 2010, in the jail he's in, people are bringing in books with the pages soaked in steroids.
Oh my God.
And the criminals are eating the books.
Wow.
So they can win jail bodybuilding contests.
What? Get the fuck out of my life.
I'm not fucking kidding. This is going on. They're tearing out pages.
This Harry Potter's delicious.
It's swallowing them to get steroids. It's fucking nuts. A prison insider said,
"Can we send him David the homicide book? And we'll piss on it.
Yeah, there we go.
We'll just tell him that it's
eat
steroids."
Jesus. The bosses there said they began drug testing contenders for the strongman contest after noticing that some of them were getting, quote, bigger and angrier. And that's in prison.
Yeah.
Where all they do is get big and angry. Right. So you're like, whoa, this is getting worse. A prison insider said, quote, "For weeks now, the prisoners have been getting loads of books to delivered, many of them gangster biographies and autobiographies. The pages are soaked with steroids, but the security scanner doesn't pick up the liquid because it's dried. They take them back to their cells, rip out the pages before eating them. A lot of guys are taking the strongman contest very seriously. In prison, it's all about looking the biggest and the hardest. But the staff became suspicious recently because a number of the cons are looking bigger and became more aggressive. Now, one said, now every con who has put his name down for the competition is going to be tested. If they fail or refuse, they get banned. Wow, that's fucking hilarious, man. Jesus Christ.
Just shitting Agatha Christie.
What's going on? 2012. They've discovered another escape plan. Yeah. This is his 5th time they found him trying to escape. He's had 4 escape plans.
What's he going to do, just punch his way out?
Just punch his way through the wall like Dotzik. Right. Just rip his way through a fence. I'm free. They found that he was planning to go. They said they tell, quote, a credible escape intelligence came from an external agency. Basically, Jesus Christ, man. He tried to break he wanted to make a prison break by holding guards hostage using a gun smuggled into another way here. Yeah. And then he was trying to organize a way out using outside help. And that's how they busted him. Because
everything he does, he's like, we need a gun.
Yeah, we need a gun. It's like, stop. July 22nd, 2014, he's going. This is his final thing to try to get his security status downgraded. Not like he's dangerous or anything. I mean, obviously, just a cop killer who's killed other people, looking to escape, and
just wants a gun.
It's fine. So he said that, quote, since his incarceration, this is the one of the cops here, Bieber has occupied himself by making numerous applications to the High Court about the conditions in which he is being held. The court officer has established that he has made 4 such applications. He keeps fucking doing this. They said the judge said that we all designed to make his life a little more comfortable in prison. Had he either been, this is so weird. I don't understand what they're saying here. All the claims he has made have been funded by legal aid. I repeat, all of the claims he's made have been funded by legal aid. The judge said about this, they said, quote, it's perhaps noteworthy that I've sat in the court where I usually sit with litigants in person before me, people who are desperate to see their children, from whom the government has withdrawn all legal aid. And he said that his crimes were, quote, at the upper end of bestial, and that he was perfectly reasonable to suppose that he would stage a breakout if he could. Yeah. So he says, you, sir, may not go fucking anywhere. Eat shit. They put some stank on it over there. Now, 2015 here, like we said, he's still over there.
So they were mad that this fucker is absorbing legal aid from citizens that have a weak sentence. Yeah. And this fucker has to be there for 37 years.
Or other legal problems.
Right. And he's trying to turn it over.
He racked up at the taxpayer expense of his legal aid £277,600.
Wow.
For all of these things here. That's $236,000 was spent on his trial. £40,000 was spent on civil claims about his prison conditions here. And that's a lot. So people were pissed off about that. Mm-hmm. But he wanted to have his exceptional risk security category downgraded, is what they said. They needed to do that. Now, 2015, David Snipes is in court. Okay, he's asking for his life sentence to be reduced even more since he was 17. So he's asking for some kind of something, basically.
He wants an ability to get out.
He wants an ability to get out someday, which right now he does not have. Mm-hmm. He has life right now. But that's still going on. Those appeals take forever. Mm-hmm. October 10th, 2017. This is in South Littleton, Evesham. Mm-hmm. Evesham?
Yep.
I don't know. In the UK, October, it's a prison, October 10th, 2017. Mm-hmm. Okay. David Bieber grabs a female prison guard,
you motherfucker,
from behind and repeatedly slashes her neck, hands, and arms with a 12-inch blade.
Wow, where the fuck did he get that?
Wow. A source said, quote, this was a savage attack and she's lucky to be alive. She did not die, thankfully. They said Bieber is a high-risk prisoner in one of Britain's toughest jails, yet he apparently has been able to get a deadly weapon. There must be an urgent inquiry. Right. Whereas over here, they'd be like, I mean, it happens.
We can ask some questions,
they don't know.
But, you know.
They don't care. They stab each other sometimes.
Prison.
At the time, they weren't sure whether it was a knife or an implement made into a blade. The Ministry of Justice said, "We do not tolerate violence against our hardworking prison staff. This incident is being investigated by police, so we cannot comment further." They said, quote, "It's a miracle we are not grieving for a murdered colleague." Yeah, I would say. He went to court for that. He's due to stand trial. He denies the attempted murder of the guard, Allison Smith.
It was Mr. X.
It was Mr. X. He's in there somehow. You don't know. Wounding her with intent to do grievous bodily harm and unauthorized possession in prison of a knife or offensive weapon, which turned out to be a pronged metal bar that he fucking sharpened up like that. His earliest release date, though, is 2041. Okay. He could get out, and if he is, he will be immediately taken to Florida to be put in the electric chair. So
he will
good luck.
Be 75 years old?
Yes, he will be about 75 years old and on the fast track to the electric chair. Right. So he's not really a threat at this point. David Bieber's out of it, but he's going to sit in a prison in England. And
Wesley's boy is down there.
Snipes is down there. He's done for life, and then the Saladino guy's out. So
he's out living somewhere.
Oh boy! His two wives. Yeah, one's living in a mansion, doing great, and the other one, I'm not sure. She's in England doing whatever.
Horsley.
It's cloudy, Horsley. So that, my friends, is David Bieber.
Whoa!
And when I tell you that bodybuilding episodes are crazy,
they're solid.
Don't question us.
Ripped, James.
They're amazing. They're solid. They're not taut and supple like Jimmie likes in a young boy. They're ripped and hard.
Packed full.
Yeah, and there's no sports in them, so people don't have to bitch about that. I love how some people complain that if there's any sports. Some people complain when there's no sports.
Right.
Then some people complain that
the crime's not bad enough.
The sport we weren't as in depth as we should have been against MMA.
Sorry, we don't like it.
Yeah, sorry, I don't talk about two guys grappling for a while. That's not what the fucking show is about. And the other thing too, well, that crime, well, he's just some DUIs or some coke. You guys are missing the fucking point. Okay.
The other thing, I don't like bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Who the
neither
fuck?
Do I.
How many people listen to this love bodybuilding?
Here's the sports I know. Football, baseball, basketball, boxing. I don't know shit. I'm pretty good with those. I know those. I don't know the other ones. So outside of that, I don't fucking know.
I don't
those.
Care. I've watched all of those.
Yeah, I don't care.
I don't know shit about any of them.
And if you're tuning into this show for in-depth sports analysis, you're fucking missing the point.
You should find Bill Simmons.
And if you're tuning into this for some sort of true crime thing, you're also missing the point. That's the thing. Both of those things are Trojan horses for comedy.
Right.
We don't care if we're talking about one or the other. We just want to make jokes. Right. And when people go, I don't know, the MMA episodes, they do crazy stuff, but I don't want to hear them list off a bunch of fights. Okay, I get that. But when we list off 4 guys, where it's just 4 fights, he fought this guy, he fought that guy, he fought that guy, then you come up with Luigi Favoranti, and Jimmie throws up from laughing so hard because we go on a fucking long, funny run about it.
Because Luigi's a blast.
Some of the funniest stuff we've ever had happens during
their accidents.
Completely innocuous parts of the show, talking about some fucking roster a guy was on, or so it doesn't matter. It's an accident. Talking about some venue. Right. That's the other thing. It's some shit venue. You have to see where these people are in life. If you're talking about an MMA fighter, are they fighting in a fucking parking lot in Oklahoma, or are they fighting at the Hard Rock in Vegas? What are they fucking doing? There's a difference. So it's one of those things.
The difference in career path.
Yeah, and that's with context. Context matters in a story. Yeah. I don't know, just for me anyway, but it's all Trojan horse shit, and it's for the comedy. So if you're not here for the comedy, you've been fooled. Sorry. If you are, you've done it right. Welcome aboard. You get the secret ring. I don't know what the fuck to tell you. That said, thank you guys.
You can take it right on Professor X's lap.
That's right. Thank you guys so much, though, for hanging out with us and tuning in. If you enjoyed that show, I know how you can tell us and the rest of the world, too. Get on Apple Podcast, that purple icon, or even Stitcher. You can do it there and give us 5 stars. Doesn't matter what you're saying. Say you're following instructions, following directions, whatever it is. But that helps drive us up the charts, so we really appreciate it. Mm-hmm. Also, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com for all of your crime and sports needs. Lots of new merchandise up all the time, and all of your small town murder stuff as well. You get your tickets to live shows there, upcoming live shows. We are going to be in San Francisco March 13th and 14th. 2 late shows, Friday and Saturday night late shows. Come hang out with us. I think that the Friday one's just about sold out, but there's some left for the Saturday. By the way, that second Portland show is gone.
Is it done?
Sold out.
We sold out 2 shows in Portland?
2 shows, night back-to-back, 2
That's
theaters
the
in
Aladdin?
Portland. I'm fucking thrilled. So thank you, Portland, man. You guys are really our favorites up there. Shows you don't come somewhere for a year and they come out. Thank you guys for coming out for that. Detroit and Cincinnati, March 27th and 28th. And, of course, April 7th and 8th in Nashville, where we're going to have that live Crime and Sports. But those are sold the fuck out. So
not the ones in Detroit and Cincinnati, though. Come to those.
Come see those. And if you're a Crime and Sports fan, you're not really listening to Small Town Murder, dude, come to a live show. You would go see some mediocre comic just because you want to go out.
Right.
Our live show is better than a comedy show that you're going to go see. Yeah. It's not just some person with a microphone talking. It's 2 of us with microphones and a crazy story and pictures, and it's just not fair. You're going to be hurting. We're
having fun.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. So come out and see us. Get your tickets and come hang out with us and do that. We don't know if Crime and Sports is going to come to your city. Who the hell knows? So come hang out with us and
just
do that.
Just come to these.
Come follow us on social media. We're at Crime and Sports on Twitter and Facebook, at Small Town Murder on Instagram there. Right. Also, if you want to be an even more gigantic hero, at Crime and Sports. Our crimeinsports@gmail.com is our email address. If you want to be a bigger hero, you want to be a producer, you're that kind of special person who just, wants to give to something that you love.
Yeah.
You can do that very easily by going to patreon.com/crimeinsports, or you can head over to PayPal and use our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com. And honestly, every dime is insanely appreciated.
Yeah.
It's so appreciated that I think we need to do shout outs, and why don't we show them how much we appreciate them during this whole thing? Jimmie, hit me with that list like a book full of steroids.
This week's executive producers are Chris Hassan, Clay Thorson, all the guys over there at the BFG plant in Indiana. They came to the show in Indy. Thank you guys
awesome.
so
Thanks,
much.
guys.
We really appreciate you. Ryan James, Nicole Marino Peters. Also, we have, what is that? Is that Ian? Yes. Ian Wilkinson, Tanya Volanek, Robin Brown Gallahan? Yeah. Yes. Ryan Dempsey and Jordan Bennett. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much
for everything you do. We can't do it without you.
We appreciate it so
other
much.
producers this week are Ted Glossemeyer, Taylor Shipley. Brace it. Step in and get comfortable because this is going to be a long one. Jennifer Ross, Ishmael Guerrero, Robin Bevan. Yes. Rhonda Herr, Adina Hampton, Cheyenne with no last name, Eric Vasquez, David Adelson. No. Dawn. Sorry, Dawn. Jesus, that's Dawn Adelson.
Even the same amount of letters.
I know. The W kind of looks like a V. I don't know.
Okay.
Marissa Saluri, Lucinda Powell, Dan Seward, Rick Bryant, Brandy Winner. Yeah, it is Winner. Jay Poole. Okay, here we go. Victoria Griffith, Aaron Temple, Vincent Nassef.
Tries to get himself on a roll. Here we go.
Psyching myself out. You ready? Chris Tucker.
Now I can read.
Chris Tucker's daughter, Lisa Tucker. That's who that is. Brad, Severe Mata? Scissor Mata. No, it's not right. No. Vincent Nassef, I said that. Jen Visconti, Tyler Forrester, Ray Sanders, John Myers, Matthew Walk, Mariella Renquist, Jessica with no last name, Molly Block, Stephanie Sherman, Tracy Ainsworth, Brooke Kale, Big Boy Trivia, it's a podcast.
Okay.
That's what that is. Lisa Bell, Chantel Meacham, Max Daniels, Sam Hart, welcome.
Welcome, Sam Hart.
Sam Hart, welcome, dickhead. That's what I was supposed to say from his brother.
Thank you.
His other, whoever the other Hart
welcome,
is.
Welcome, dickhead.
Artney with no last name. Kim Coos, Shola Agora, Diana McGuire. Okay, Lucinda Lynch Powell, Sarah Jones, Forrest Shoemaker. No. Schomburger. Schomlieber. That's what that is. That's Shoemaker, right?
Sure, same thing.
Ann Scott, Margaret Pelson. I think that's right. Caitlin Flack, Brian Johnson, Peregrine Ruscorla. Mullen 11. I don't know what that is.
Okay.
That's a thing, though. Jeff Hawkins. No, Hankins. No, that's Hawkins. Ryan Pearson, Lily Williams, Jennifer Hughes, Chris Bartoli. Yeah, Christopher Bartoli.
Oh.
Bartoli.
Yeah.
It's Bartolini.
Jesus.
God damn it. Sarah, he even told me to have you pronounce it because it's Italian. Sarah, but I chose not to, and I chose the wrong path. Sarah Patton, Josh Hennick, Adam with no last name, Jennifer Bateman. That's what that is. Scott Bledsoe, Gustavo Cheese Toe, Special Teams, Jason Dingers. Yep, Dingus. That's what that is.
Okay.
Colleen Ingham, Natasha Hargrove, Sandy McMillan, Vicky Hayward, Scott Frazier, Amara McHale, Karen Rice, Carrie Walney, I think, Margaret Gary, some schmuck, William with no last name, Brian Manelli, Nikki Slade, Megan Barr, Reginald Matthews, Sam Beasley, Ryan Cody, Matt Ava, Shelby Baugh, Byron Bell, James Templeton, backside of this thing, Brittany Boltman, Rodney Johnson, that is 2 dick names, that's what that is, Jen Riles, Keith Cerny, Ashley Carson, Matt Zick, that's what that is, Karen Edwards, Shanna Bell, Russ Warnes, or Ross, I think it's Russ, no, it's probably Ross, Michael Reba, Amy Burkhart.
Why is it more likely Ross than Russ?
Because it looks more like an O.
Oh, okay. It's based on your writing.
Right.
Okay. Gotcha.
It's probably Russ. Rachel Taylor, Blake Glon, Hannah Weeks, Sandy L., Keaton with no last name, Katie Weiss, Kyle Bailey, I think I said that, Jane Woods, Alicia LaFrance, Emily Thibault, Jane Woods, I said that, damn it, David Ranley, Lauren Reed, Kara James, Taylor with no last name, Jill Knapp, Chris Bartolini, I told you that, I got it, Emma Smith, Jordan Baca, Andrew Bailey, Cole Calvin, Chris Crow, Megan Good, and congratulations.
Hey, congrats, Megan.
Mary Wedding? I don't know what I'm saying. Devin with no last name. Deanna Grimes, Drew Mixon, Chris Tyner, Kimber Huven, Deanna Grimes, Linda Boardman, Shelby Montesani, Chris Tyner, Donna Easley, Natasha Wilcox, Chris Miller, Megan Morrill, Becca Penderzani, Krista Downs, Chris Miller, Lindsay Greth, Alexander Green, Lauren Kellen. I think it's Kellen. Sanji Habagizand. No, yeah. Maybe. Sanjay.
Okay.
Habagizand.
Yeah, Habagizand.
Right.
Yeah, I know him.
Frank Gant, Melody Crenshaw, Katie Ball, and home stretch, God damn it. Here we go. Right. Jesse Hartman, Melissa Turner, Bailey Payton, Brianna Poland, James Martyr, Reagan Shaukley, Peyton Meadows, Liz Vasquez, Cameron Leopold, Total Axe in Michigan. Thank you, by the way. I threw axes this past weekend, and they saw me on Instagram throwing axes, and they called the axe place and sent me waters because they didn't send beers. So that was very nice. Thank you.
Good.
Bethany Lampke. God damn it. Josh Jessup, Gary Howard. Thanks, Gary. Hey. Lauren Wallace, Tracy Renninger, Jackie Sukup, TJ Max, Mac. God damn it.
Max.
I know her, and I said Max.
TJ.
I just found out her real name this week.
I know. I did too.
Fascinating. Lisa Ward, Trey Volkanar, Amanda Knight, Ted Cyrus, Jude Kendall, Michael Jacobs, Brian Riley, Janice Hill, Dove Harper, Cynthia Carmona, Thomas Smith, Steve Schnell, James LaRussa, Tyler Gwill, Blair Bodner, Sierra Stratton, Emmy Dumont, Marla Happany, Lorenzo Gutierrez, Robert Steyer, James Graben, Craig Cole, Gianna DeLuca, Susanna Platt, Brendan Abels, Bill Szynski, that's Angela Serrano, I was on a roll, Kelly Higby, and Ashley Vio, and Dustin De Maria, Dove wants to marry you. So look at her.
Hey.
Yes or no, fucker.
Yeah. Pick a fucking answer here.
We're waiting. Let us know how it works out. Congratulations.
Tell us about your romantic fucking fairy tale.
Sorry if he said no.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much, especially all of our Patreon supporters. And then also thanks to, we got a letter, and he's the sweetest dude. Kevin Bleem, his brother is serving in the military, and they talk about the show.
Oh, cool.
They fucking call each other and talk about this shit. So thank you, guys. Thank you for your service. Thanks for your donation and your meats. You sent us the meats, and we appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for doing what you do.
Thank you so much, everybody. Honestly, thank you. We cannot thank you enough for everything you do for us. It's wild, and we appreciate it. And as you can tell, this week week. Did you hear any ads?
Not one.
Not one. So thank you for contributing to the show and doing that. That definitely helps us in our enthusiasm for the show to not go, well, that was a lot of work for nothing. So thank you so much for everything you do for us, honestly. What if they wanted to thank you, Jimmie, or give you a steroid-filled book? How can they do that?
You can find me at Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks on Twitter and Instagram. Snapchat is gone. I'm done with that shit. I tried so hard. I couldn't do it anymore.
Good.
I'm not 13.
That's the thing.
I've got a penis.
I'm glad you've come around.
Surprisingly enough.
I'm glad you've come around. I knew it would happen eventually. I'm like, this isn't going to last.
Twitter and Instagram.
And I'm glad I stopped because I'm glad I didn't do it because I would have wasted a lot of time.
So much time.
It would have been like clarinet lessons. It would have just been
annoying.
a fucking waste of time.
But thank you guys for being a part of this. I really, really appreciate it. I know James appreciates it, and my goddamn children appreciate it. So thank you. What about you? Where can they find you?
You can find me at Jimmie P is Funny, or you can just copy and paste my name from the show description and do it that way so you don't make yourself crazy. So do that. Keep coming back every single week, hanging out with us, because it's never going to stop, goddammit. Craziness. Next 2 weeks are wild, guys. Wild. 2 big episodes.
Great.
Interconnected. Good shit. Check that out. And keep doing that. And coming back and back and back. And until next week, everybody, that's not how the end of this show ends. This show ends live from the Crime and Sports Studios. We will see you next week.
Bye.
If you like crime and sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
with a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.